Welcome to the Freaky Fast 250 here at the Martinsville Speedway with Sim Racing Unleashes Cup Series here as we take on the oldest active racetrack on the NASCAR circuit with the future of NASCAR here, the NASCAR Next Gen Cup Series car, as we go around the paperclip here tonight for 250 laps to see who can beat this half-mile giant monster of a racetrack here as we're in Martinsville, Virginia. Thank you all for tuning in here at Sim Racing Unleashed. We definitely want to send a special shout out to our sponsor here of Budget Sim Boxes. If you're a sim racer looking for a button box that fits your price range, then Budget Sim Boxes is your source. Make sure you head over to Facebook and search out Budget Sim Boxes, and you can find them in the iRacing flea market where they can get all of your services done. But thank you to Budget Sim Boxes for sponsoring here at SRU as we're here tonight at the Freaky Fast 250 on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I am Zach Hall. Joined alongside me will be David Medina up in the commentary booth, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. as always up in the production box. But David, what a night here to take on the next gen car at Martinsville. I am so excited to see how this car races because I feel like it suits it so well.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch these cars try to tame this track here. But excited to be up here with you in the booth and watch this race here in this next-gen car at Martinsville, the good old paperclip track. So just kind of watching these guys going through practice and all the cars just really trying to push the limits, trying to find out, what's the max brake bias they can run, how soon can they get on acceleration. So I think we're in for a great show, and maybe we'll be in for some bump and run tonight.
We very well could see that happen for sure. This track is known for it being very, very much so a physical altercation, usually coming down to the end of these checker flags. But I tell you, at 250 laps, I think we could have multiple altercations through those 250 laps, and it's going to be a fun one to watch. Again, thank you all for tuning in here at the Freaky Fast 250 at the Martinsville Speedways. We enter qualifying now. We're going to have 20 of our drivers here at SRU take on this half-mile racetrack to put down the fastest time. And, we talk about track position every week almost, David, but I feel like here at this short track in Martinsville, track position is the #1 goal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Track position here is a short track, really hard to pass here, and you don't want to be in a position where you got to sit there and do a dive into the corner to try and make the pass. But sometimes that's what it takes. But yeah, I agree. This is one of those tracks that you just really got to get that qualifying effort. Try and start up the front as close as up front as you can. And make it easier on yourself. And then I think we're going to be in for some interesting things because especially on the start when the cars are all stacked up. Going into turn 1 and 2, guys have different braking points, so it'd be interesting to see how these guys are able to kind of sort that stuff out.
Right now, the first few lap times clicking in here in this qualifying session, and our last week's winner from Gateway, that's Mark Whitley. He's up on top of the board right now. He comes in here tonight 6 points behind our second place man as he actually drops down to third there as Steven Stippian, as Michael Yard takes that second position from him. But yeah, Steven Stippian coming here as our points here right now, third on the board. He finished second to Whitley last week. It's been kind of a titanic battle between those two the whole season as the rest of the field tries to reel him back in before we head off into the playoffs.
Yeah, Mark Whitley, he's got 3 wins already this season, so just doing a phenomenal job already. But, Michael Yarl, a guy to keep an eye on, had the fastest lap in practice and, currently sitting in P2 position. We'll see if he'll be able to stay up there.
Yaro's been one to watch for, definitely, David. I think he's a driver that could sneak up and definitely put himself into a winning position here. Just not had the luck on his side this season, but we've seen the speed be there multiple times as we're watching right now. The 75 of Chuck Sweeten, he's been a driver that's been on the podium multiple times this season, has really been on some type of roll. We'll see if he can keep it up in the 75 machine. He said in his interview last week he thinks this is going to be a place that he could struggle and just kind of not be the greatest at, but I tell you what, Chuck Sweeten, we'll see what he can do because 250 laps here, you got to think it's going to be a tough occasion. No fast repairs, nothing to go back on. It's going to be all out to the end.
It is. It's going to be all out, and if it's a track you're not comfortable with, you don't feel like you perform really well here. There's a few things other to watch for is to try and keep yourself clear of other people getting caught up into the wall. And one thing I was kind of watching in practice is some of the guys just really having some issues on corner exit. Just really trying to get on the throttle early and just losing it and going towards the inside wall. So we'll see how that kind of goes and plays out there in the race. But Steve Simpian, our points leader, just someone to keep an eye on. He's sitting third right now on the qualifying side, but just been pretty consistent all season long. So, man, I'm really looking forward to this short track racing tonight.
Yeah, I definitely am too, David. And one thing I'm gonna think we're gonna have to look for also, you talked about a little bit of the drive off, and I think that's something we're gonna definitely have to watch. It's Martinsville, of course, putting the power down to those rear tires, essential to getting around this half-mile track. Pretty much two hairpins with a drag strip, connecting them, two drag strips. So it's a track that you have to put the power down and get down the straightaways to make time. But I tell you what, getting into those corners is going to be very critical too. These bigger brakes on this next gen car, I think we could see some locking up of that left front tire, definitely, as you get a little bit light and load up that right front tire on the entry and all that load transfers. If you have too much brake and too much wheel in that tire, it's going to unload that left front. And from there, the weight's going to be off it. It's going to lock up. And there you're going to take some tire wear off and definitely some turn in issues there for you as the race continues on. So I think that's something we could watch for. It's going to be fun to see if that's something that plagues these guys. But I tell you what, these brakes are definitely, I think everybody's talking about how really good they are compared to our old brakes.
Yeah, that's kind of the challenge of this league and then this season, going back between the current gen and the next gen car, it's kind of makes it real challenging to get a real good feel for the car as to how it's going to act under braking and throttle. But these guys have done a really good job this season, so I suspect that they'll do a good job here. But you're right, man. It's these guys could very easily lock up these brakes, and on the start of the race, it's going to be side by side, two by two all the way back, and these guys are just going to have to tread lightly, going into these corners side by side, because all it takes is for that inside car to either hit the curb or to lock that brake up, and it'll slide them towards the outside where a car could be sitting.
And the last 10 seconds here qualifying looking to be clicking off. Doesn't look like we have any drivers out there attempting laps at the moment here at the Martinsville Speedway. So it looks like our qualifying session is going to come to an end as we have our grid set here tonight for the Freaky Fast 250. We're going to go to the grid here as it's going to come up here as Mark Whitley just starting up front once again as he's on a roll in this 77 machine. And he'll be looking to bring it home for a possible another victory here at SRU. As there it is, our grid. Mark Whitley going to start from that pole position there. Alongside him is going to be Michael Yarn in second position. Third is going to go to Steven Stempien. Fourth place is the return of Hunter Hayward in the 48. Going to have to watch out for him. Fifth is going to be Dave Bush, a good qualifying spot for that 53. Sixth is going to go to Chuck Sweet. Seventh is Byron Barlett. Eighth is going to go to Benjamin Butler. Ninth is going to be Mike Chamberlain. And rounding our top 10 here is Robbie Darnell.
Yeah, starting 11th, we got Larry Blair, and then coming on the 12th position there, you got Brendan Matthew. Dakota Bryan will be starting in 13th position, followed by Kevin Roy and James Bryant. Starting in 16th position, we have Clifton Ashley, and then Paul Cohen starting 17th, and then Jason Adams in the 18th position. Mark Koshnick starting in the 19th position, and Robert Chestwick starting in the 20th position.
And that is your starting grid here tonight for the Freaky Fast 250 at Martinsville here at Sim Racing's Unleashed Cup Series. Mark Whitley starting up front. 20 cars here ready to do battle for 250 laps around the paperclip here, as they call it, Martinsville. And I tell you what, also a daytime race. We've seen the lights be added, and a lot of leagues I know have gone to the nighttime races here. But I like to see it here, a nice classic day race at Martinsville, hot and slick out here. It's going to be a fun one to watch as we wait for the grid to finalize here at the Martinsville Speedway and pull off and start tonight's Freaky Fast 250.
Yeah, 250 laps. It's just short track racing. What more could you ask for on the Sunday night? You got the next gen cars, and these guys, you're just going to sit there and go into turn one side by side. We'll see how fast they try to get things sorted out. But that's suspect. We're going to see some really good racing all night long, lap after lap.
Everybody patiently waiting here on the front straightaway at the historic Martinsville Speedway as we begin to roll. The pace car has left the start finish line, and we're going to begin our 2 pace laps here tonight at Martinsville to get things kicked off. Watch early for them cold tires, everybody. These drivers are going to be very much on edge as the tires are not going to be up to temp there, as they've been sitting on that grid, very much cooling down in that scenario right now. Some drivers trying to get some heat in the brakes and tires before they head down to turn one to do battle side by side.
Yeah, it looked like we already had some issues. Like Dakota Bryant had a little bit of issues getting up to speed there, but we'll keep an eye on this as we get ready to come to the green. But yeah, these guys, Points leader wise, you got Steve Cempia, Mark Whitley, Dakota Bryant, James Adam, and Dave Bush all sitting in the top 5 in points.
Yeah, everybody all up here stacked up at the front of the field. We'll have one more pace lap here before we take the green flag. Mark Whitley looking to go back to back here after winning at Milwaukee, or sorry, not Milwaukee, the Gateway, the Worldwide Technology Raceway, as he was able to bring home the victory here as we bring it down the back straightaway. He's going to have his rival, Steven Stippian, on the back bumper in the 81 machine. He's going to have the 9 of Michael Yarrow, the 48 of Hunter Hayward, and the outside in the second row. A lot of true contenders here at Sim Racing's Unleashed Cup Series. It's going to be fun here tonight for 250 laps at the historic Martinsville Speedway. We're off and green flag is in the air, and we are here for the Freaky Fast 250 as we head down the one.
Coming into one, you got Mark Whitley hanging on to the inside, and Yarrow just trying to hang on to the outside and able to go ahead and clear Scypian and fall behind Mark Whitley.
Quickly trying to get to the bottom. Everybody trying to find the gaps. Michael Yarrow going backwards quickly here as he'll finally slot into the 4th position as we head down the one with Mark Whitley out front. Steven Stippian 3rd, Hunter Hayward Steven Stippian 2nd, Hunter Hayward 3rd.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Michael Yarrow decided to stay up there on the high grooves and stuff, but looks like he had a little bit of challenge there with grip. Allow him to 75 to go ahead and clear him to 75 and slides up in front of the 9 and take that position.
Great pass early in the going here for Chuck Sweeten up to the 4th spot here, 3 laps into Martinsville. This track, we always talk about how it's a tough track to pass, but a track you definitely can pass. It's tough, but it's doable, and that's one of the things I think that makes this track so great. You really got to work somebody over, get the run up out of these corners, get to the inside, and make it stick on the bottom. That outer groove is not the preferred groove, but you definitely can make that groove work if you make that person on the inside have to really work for it.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, just getting that run off the exits there to set up, your pass going into the next turn. I think that's probably the most critical way to try to set up a pass there is to be able to do so. Like you said, you got to be able to make it stick. So I think these guys getting their tires up to temperature, and then still trying to get a feel for it. Sometimes you can get behind the car and get on their left rear and make their car a little bit loose on exit. So we'll see how all this plays out. What these guys use to try and make these passes.
Early in the going right here, single files. We look back, we got a caution out on the speedway here at Martinsville. It looks like Clifton Ashley in the 10. He may be up in the wall here down in turn 1 as he got a major issue here to bring out our first caution tonight and a major collision on the nose of that 10 machine. As we go back on the replay here and see what happened with this 10 machine.
Yeah, we see him coming through the center of the turn and coming through the exits there, and as he gets on the throttle there, looks like he was hanging on right there so far. We'll see if he's coming into this next corner where this caution comes out. But yep, yeah, it looks like under braking there, just lost that rear end and tried to save and got into that outside wall.
Yeah, that was definitely looking like a little bit of rear brake lock maybe even for him. So I talked a little bit about that front brakes locking for these guys. That may have been a little bit of rear brake lockup there for him in that number 10 machine. And, we could say, oh, maybe it was wheel hop. But actually, that this is a funny fact about this car here with the new rear suspensions and suspensions of these next-gen Cup Series cars. We no longer will experience wheel hop. Our rear suspensions are now independent from left to right, and each tire can move individually each way instead of the suspensions from left to right being connected. So no longer will we have to suffer with wheel hop in these Cup cars, but right there I think was a little bit of case of some rear lock on the back tires, and it just definitely turned that car a little bit faster than he wanted to get down to the bottom.
Zach, I think when I start jumping into this next-gen car, I might have you be my crew chief. You got a lot of knowledge on how these cars work already, so that's good to hear. But it could be one of those situations where everyone's trying to find that advantage, and you try to use that brake bias to try and help loosen that car up and get it to rotate in the corner, and maybe just had too much rear brake dialed in on the early start of the race.
Yeah, no, that is one of the things too. You hear a lot of times guys when they're good at this racetrack and they're getting their cars dialed in for especially this racetrack, not only in the sim, but it carries over to real life too here also with the NASCAR Cup Series. I know a lot of times guys really struggle with fast cars being a little bit loose in. If you're not a little bit loose in, you're not going to be good enough to be able to get to the center the way you want. So you got to be able to deal with a little bit of loose entry in there to get down into the corner. And that is one of the scariest feelings ever as a driver, is when you turn that wheel and that rear end kicks out as you go down into the entry at the highest speed point of the corner. It's a frightening moment, but you have to almost have that to get the turn in that you want.
Yeah, and this track is is different than a lot of tracks, as you can see here as we're coming into the turn. It goes from asphalt to to concrete, and then right back to asphalt as you come off the off the exit. So your grip level definitely changes between the two surfaces there. So it's another one of those challenging moments of this track.
It definitely is, David. That's one thing a lot of drivers talk about too. You can clearly tell the difference when you transition from one of those surfaces to the next. Some guys' cars are, man, as soon as I get on the concrete, it's fine, but once I get out of that concrete onto the asphalt, I start to really spin the tires. So it's one thing that they got to manage here is the dynamic ability of this racetrack. Man, I love it. It's definitely one of my favorite up there in all of the circuits of NASCAR, and we are glad to be able to bring you to action here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Freaky Fast 250. We got a shout out to Sim Racing Unleashed, as we are the sponsor here tonight for the race at Martinsville. As we come off of 4, we're going to get ready to go back green flag racing here as we complete lap number 11. Whitley out front, side by side, down into 1 with Steven Stippy and Hunter Hayward all over the back bumper of the 77. We got Chuck Sweeting up top. It's a gaggle coming off of 2.
Yeah, and you can see there just the advantage that IndyCar car has on coming off the exit there. But Steve Stipian tries to do a really good job and try to make that crossover. But just the advantage that IndyCar car has on being able to get off the corner there on that corner exit and getting able to get onto that throttle. The car on the outside, you have to hesitate just a little bit before you can get the full throttle, and that was kind of really the difference between Steve Stipian and Mark Whitley.
As you can see, Steven Stippy, for our previous camera shot, he was all over the back deck lid of that 77 as we head off of turn 2. He's putting the pressure on Steven Stippy here. Like we said, it's been such a battle between these two all season long, back and forth, taking the points lead from each other. And right now, Whitley's trying to get some more points gained back on Steven Stippy while he's trying to get back to the lead in front of him.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there. These two guys have really been putting on just a great battle all season long, and I suspect it'll continue to carry on all the way through the championship. But you got Hunter Hayward sitting in 3rd place, and Yarrow, who kind of started up front and kind of drifted back after having some issues. But those top 4 guys putting a little bit of distance now between the rest of the pack.
Definitely starting to grow that gap from 4th back to 5th there with Byron Bartlett there in that 5th position, up from 7th. So great run for the 2 machines so far, as he's got Chuck Sweeten, who's dropped back from that 5th position now back to 6th, where he started with Dave Bush back in 7th. A lot of the field here is still single filed out, but man, this track is so interesting. With the way the runs are right now, we're only 17 laps into 250 laps. Laps click off here very quickly, but the question is, if you hit cautions, that's when tire strategy becomes very weird and very erratic. We got 4 sets of tires here tonight, so 3 in pit road. You're not going to see people pitting for a while, I believe. And if you do pit pretty early in one, if we do get another caution, it's going to be a risky call that you make. But that's going to be one of the few things that's going to be fun to watch, is guys pulling different strategies here tonight at Martinsville.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks you don't really know what you're going to get, if you're going to get any long runs or not, and so you got to be able to adapt your strategy on the fly. And like you've already touched on, as to when you take your tires, how many cautions we're going to have, and how does that affect strategy and stuff like that. But I think for a lot of these drivers, especially the ones that are up front, that was checklist number 1. Get started towards the front, get a good start, and keep yourself up front. It just makes it a lot easier. It's much easier to try and pass 3 cars versus trying to pass 15 cars. So these guys can check that box off there. But we're going to have pit stops, whether it's under green or whether it's under yellow flags, and when you take your tires, and all those things come into play. So it's going to be an interesting time over these next 250 laps to kind of see how all these guys' game plan play out, and who's able to put the best game plan together to get themselves that victory.
Riding on board here with the 9 machine of Michael Yarrow here at the moment. He's in the 4th position, able to work his way back up after starting 2nd, dropping all the way back to 6th. He's hanging on to this battle right here. Is behind him. Even Chuck Sweden's moved up to 5th from passing the 2 machine of Byron Bartlett. So great move up from Chuck Sweden up to 5th. As you can see, that gap back to 5th now. It's definitely still a sizable gap, but it looks like Chuck Sweden's starting to put an even gap between him and the 2 and the 9. So Chuck Sweden kind of getting in his own little land of territory there. Is even up front now, it's heating up again. I thought Steven Stimpian, he was dropping back a couple car links off of Mark Whitley. Not sure if Whitley had a mistake, but Stimpian all over the back deck lid of this 77 here again. We'll see if he can make something work. He had Hunter Hayward all over the back of him too. So really these top 4 not letting each other get away. And you know, it's been a common thing with this next gen car when we've seen it here. It's really not had that big of issues at tire wear, especially the speedways. But I tell you what, the tire wear is a huge factor at these short tracks, it seems like, with this car. So I think we could see these 4 guys maybe struggle as the run goes on, possibly if someone in here is really using their equipment up.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be able to take care of your equipment. This track's a flat track, so these corners, it's really easy to overdrive it, to heat up those tires. But just kind of talking about Chuck Sweeney, he's kind of like in a perfect spot right now. He doesn't really have a whole lot of pressure behind him right now, and he's got room in front of him, so he's able to run his laps, hit his marks, no pressure forward or backward, and make some time up. And just kind of looking at his times there, he's running on 19:33, which is just a little bit faster than the leader. So he's in the perfect zone to try and make ground on those four cars in front of him.
Riding on board here with Hunter Hayward. Oh, you can see up ahead, Steven Stimpian almost into the back bumper, actually trying to go to the outside of the 77. They actually make a little bit of contact to the left front. That's going to slide him up the racetrack and drop him back into the clutches of his teammate Hunter Hayward. But now I think he's going to try to rebalance and try to go back up there and contend with the 77, who he is putting some heavy pressure on here. I think this is going to be some type of battle here tonight with our top 5, really. I mean, their top 5 are really all clicking off pretty similar lap times right now, as Chuck Sweeten's starting to actually pull himself back up into this battle.
Yeah, he definitely is, and I suspect he'll continue to close that gap up. As we see Yarl taking a little bit higher entry there to try to get a better run off, and it seems to be helping them, catch up to Hunter. The question is, this is what we talked about earlier. When we started this race, is being able to get that run off. To try and set that, that turn. But you got to be able to come, down these 2 driveways. You got to be able to get your car in position to take that inside line before you get to that next turn. So we haven't really seen too much of that yet, but, it's just a matter of time, like you mentioned earlier, is, how these guys are taking care of the tires, if one's abusing them or overheating them. It's just a matter of time before, we start seeing some of these guys, getting in position to make these passes and stuff. As we see, we see the 24 there having a little bit of battle. And then the 44, that looks like he had a little bit of issues coming off the exit there.
Yeah, a little bit of checkup there as the 24 almost started into the back of the 44 as he came back up onto the racing line there. So definitely a huge checkup for these drivers. But, like you were saying, David, about how these corners, you gotta attack them. And I gotta quote the great EW, the multi-time winners. Oh man, we're getting contact to the back bumper of the 24 from Clifton Ashley there. He luckily hangs on to it there as he was our first caution tonight. Doesn't want to be involved in another one there in this 10 machine. But gotta quote the great DW, you gotta go in like a lamb and out like a lion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what we're seeing here, and we kind of touched on it a little bit at the start of the race, is everybody has a little bit different on your braking point and how much brake pressure you're putting on, things of that nature. And I think that's just what we saw here, just coming into the corner where he almost got into the 24, just a little bit difference in braking points, and almost got him to run into the back of the 24.
Yeah, this is oh, there it is, the lockup of the 44. Here comes the 24 through, and there he goes. Jason Adams past Robbie Darnell in the 24 machine there. Great move from him, but that's that left front lockup that I was talking about. And I think as the run goes on, the tires get worse and worse. The stopping powers will get worse. That's something you're going to see from more of these drivers, I think, is that left front tire starting to really smoke. And you can see it again. Robbie Darnell having major issues with that left front.
Yeah, Darnell's struggling right now. He's got marks to his left side of his car, so he made contact with the inside wall. So he's struggling here in lap 36, and we'll see if he'll be able to gather it up and get it figured out. But yeah, you touched on at the beginning of the race, and we're seeing it. We're just getting that left tire just locking up on him, and then losing grip, shooting him to the outside.
And really, this is the interesting part. Martinsville, lap traffic. You see here, we were looking at these drivers here really from the 12th position, or really the 11th position, James Bryant, back to Dakota Bryant, Jason Adams, Clifton Ashley, Robbie Darnell, Kevin Roy, Robert Cheswick. All of these drivers really from the 11th position all the way back to 16th. They're in threat of getting a lap down because here is our leaders. You can look up ahead of them. That is that pack of drivers. Is Whitley closes up to the back deck lid of Robert Cheswick, the first of the lappers. This is going to be a critical time for these leaders.
Yeah, it definitely is. When you're coming on the lap traffic on this track here, is they're already struggling, and so you hope to get out their way, but at the same time you don't want them bouncing off the wall and coming down into you while they're trying to get out their way. So far it looks like they've been doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, definitely a good job everybody navigating through. Robert Cheswick being a gentleman and a scholar there, letting everybody go on through here early in the run as they have all ran this back down. Kevin Roy's going to be the next one. You see this 6 of Cheswick, very nice, very, just very respectful, letting these leaders go by. Some of these lap cars aren't going to be as respectful. They're going to fight for a tooth and nail. So it's going to be different each car you get to. But I tell you what, right now, some great racing going on here at Martinsville. 41 laps into this thing. Look at the glow of the brake rotors here. Actually, it's funny that I bring that up as our producer, he sees it too. It caught my eye as we go down into that turn 3. We'll see if we can notice that again. As you can see, the brake rotors on that 9 machine, as he goes down the straightaways, they're going to cool off, and you're not going to see there. And then, boom, there it is, lights up the brake rotor as the heat builds up as he uses them. That is so cool to see, and man, what a great job there. We just gotta applaud iRacing for bringing stuff like that to us.
Yeah, usually those really stand out during the night races, but it's really impressive to see, how those rotors glow. Like we see them right now here in the daylight, to see those rotors glow like they are. So guys using a lot of brake, corner after corner, lap after lap, and so we'll see how these guys are able to continue that up throughout the next 200 laps or so. But yeah, it's pretty impressive to watch during the daylight and see those glowing rotors.
I tell you, I was talking about the lap cars not making it easy. Kevin Roy, no contact between him and Steven Stippian. It's going to be a wreck here on the front straightaway. Major damage for our points leader. He is looking like he has no front clip on the front of that car. It may be race over for the 81.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Is just when you're trying to get by lap traffic, you're hoping that they don't make that mistake and end up coming into you. And unfortunately, that's exactly what we just saw.
And we'll have to go back here on the Freaky Fast replay. Second caution of the night here at Martinsville. We're watching it here. The 81 of Steven Stippian going down to turn 3 and 4. Look at the brakes glowing here as he enters the corner. You're going to see the 12 of Kevin Roy there up high. Whitley going by, and the 12 loses the rear and nowhere to go for the 81 of Stippian. Hunter Hayward barely makes it through. Michael Yarrow, Chuck Swing, all of them make it through. Nobody else collected. But the 81 and our points leader viciously took it out of this race.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for Steve Stippian. I'm sure just trying to make his way past the lap car, and then the lap car there just doing everything he can to try and get out the way. And I don't know if he just got to the throttle a little bit early and just lost it there. But man, just unfortunate for one of our leaders up and our points leader to be caught up in that.
Yeah, that was it really, really was, man. And even for Kevin Roy, the big thing for him, he was in the lucky dog spot. He's probably most likely not going to get that back unless he takes the waiver around here, because he had the incident point. So that's not going to give him a chance to get that lap back. So you don't want to be involved in an incident definitely after you get a lap down, and especially when you're in lucky dog position. And that's unfortunate. And, and like you said, I don't know if he got back to the gas mill too early. He was kind of up almost in the marbles, kind of there in the middle, kind of washed up a little far, got up in the third lane where there's a lot of dirt and debris up there that really can really make your tires very low grip. And I think it kind of caught him off guard, lost the rear, and yeah, just unfortunate timing. That's one of those things, wrong place at the wrong time, that you can't help but live through in racing.
Yeah, and I think you might be onto something there. If you watch the replay again, you'll be able to see where he gets really close to going off that concrete into the asphalt, like you said, where just a lot of marbles and stuff are. And, you probably lost a little bit of traction there, but to his credit, he was trying to get out the way, and at the same standpoint, trying to race to stay on the lead lap. But just heartbreaking for Steve Stippian. You had a pretty fast car, staying up there with Mark Whitley. so far for the first 47, 48 laps, that we had of the race. So I'm sure he's got to be frustrated. That's one thing that Martinsville does. It raises a lot of tempers. It definitely will frustrate you. But if you're able to master this track and able to, stay clear of all the carnage, it's a great feeling, to be able to lead a race and to pick up a victory here.
I tell you what, this is shook things up here with this second caution. Like I said, the tire strategies are going to be all over the place here at Martinsville tonight. And right now, you're seeing tire strategy come into play. 4 sets of tires for these drivers. Right now, we had our top group come in, but right now, our top 6 stayed out. They have yet to use a set of tires here, and that's going to give them 3 to the end of this race in the last 200, while the rest of the field is going to have 2 sets of tires for the rest of the 200 laps. You can do that. You can use those 2 sets, but I tell you what, you don't want to be using them too early here, as the pace car is going to pull in. We're going to have Byron Bartlett out front on old tires here with Benjamin Button, Larry Blair, James Bryant, Dakota Bryant, and Clifton Ashley. The cars on the older rubber here as Ricky go back. Green flag racing here as there it is. Green flag is out, and we have completed 50 laps here tonight at Martinsville. 2 cautions, but it's about to get real wild here. New tires trying to come through is off of turn 2. You can see it 3 wide. Chuck Sweet back there in the background.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing to see is you got new tires mixed in with tow tires, and you're going to see Mark Whitley want to get back. Oh, as we see the 73, they're getting loose. Oh, and the car into the outside wall.
And right there, now finally, the caution will fly after that major incident. Clifton Ashley involved in the 10 machine. Looks like also maybe the 58 of Dakota Bryant in the free hugs machine. Oh, man, just bad timing there for these guys with how that all worked out. Looks like a little bit of contact between, actually no contact actually. Actually maybe a little bit actually between Larry Blair and the 73 machine is here. We'll go back on the replay and see from the point of view up here what's going on. I think the 73 up there and the 77, a little bit of a touch between those two sends the 73 around. And then from there, just a little grazing of the door of the 58. The 75 of Chuck Swing get a little bit. Hunter Hayward, a little damage. Same with him, with Clifton Ashley. Just multiple drivers getting involved there. And that just shows you just new tires coming through and just a little bit of contact. And that can create a huge pile up on these restarts.
Yeah, we're going to re-rack them and restack them and do it all over again. But, take a good look at the cars right now because, as we get closer to the end of the race, we'll probably see a lot more modifieds on the track, modified looking cars than what we saw, at the start of the race. So, Mark Whitley just missing getting caught up in that and just another, unfortunate. But, that's what happens when you have, new tires and no tires. Everybody's racing for position and those new tires just get such an advantage being able to hold that inside line a little bit better, and I just incidental contact there, unfortunate, but this is short track racing.
Yeah, and you talked about the modifieds, losing the front ends of these cars. The car that was involved in that last wreck before, Steven Stippian up there running second. Right now, he's running into the 11th position right now, or actually, sorry, the 10th position on the racetrack with no front end. So we could see him hopefully be able to maybe rebound. I mean, this track not really important for aerodynamics personally, so it could very well still work out for him here. Hopefully no engine damage is his hope. Engine damage would be a huge issue for you at this track, especially with it being, 2 drag strips connected by hairpins. Definitely want as much engine power as you can to get down these straightaways here. But I tell you what, nonetheless, he's still out there on track making laps, so there's a lot of guys in his position. Chuck Sweeting is another driver. He took a pretty heavy hit on the 75. He's getting it worked on pit road as the field continues to pace around here. Byron Bartlett, though, still out front. Benjamin Butler in second. You have yet to pit up here in the top 2 positions. Whitley, though, restarted from that 7th position up the 3rd on that restart. Hunter Hayward up the 4th. Whitley was the one that went through the cleanest. He didn't get no damage there. Hunter Hayward got a lot of nose damage on that 48. I don't know how that's going to fare, but definitely better than his teammate, Steven Stippings.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see with Steve Sippian, like you were talking about, just that nose being gone. Should probably help him. Maybe with the corners having all that additional downforce. Don't know how it's going to help him on these straightaways and stuff. But that's a great thing about short track racing. It's that you can have a car that's damaged and still be competitive. How competitive we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out for Steve Sippian and some of the other guys that have been caught up in these early cautions.
Early cautions here at Martinsville. What wild scenes we've seen here is the first run had an early caution, then a longer green flag run, then we had a major incident and another one major there after the last restart. What happens on this one? Pay attention here as the pace car pulls in the Freaky Fast 250 just past 57 laps here tonight. Byron Barlett and the two going to start out front here. Green flag in the air in the 55 of Benjamin Butler. Great start for him. He pulls ahead as now Hunter Hayward way up in the dark stuff. He misses the whole entire corner up into the wall. It's major scenes here as Yarrow holds on to that fourth spot now as Hayward drops back to fifth.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was able to keep it off the wall, I think, there and get back in line. But yeah, you just see just what happens there when just kind of drove the corner and split up. And once he got into out the outside line, almost the third groove, just had no grip at all and just continued to shoot up. So fortunately, he was able to keep it on track and keep it clean.
Looks like the 48 of Hunter Hayward is actually going to bring it to pit road as the lead changes hands. Mark Whitley back out front. Michael Yarrow up to second here as they continue to race here throughout the field. Steven Stimpian, no front end. He goes to the inside. Jason Adams, no front end, no problem. He goes forward in that 81 machine. He says, I still got the power. He must have the speed in the car, too, because he's making passes at will right now up to 7th, trying to get past even Larry Blair here next as he comes off the corner. Great run for the 81. He's up to 6th.
I tell you, just impressive to watch him drive his modified-looking car. If he wasn't motivated before, he's really motivated now. And he's got that 81 car just charging back up towards the front right now.
I'll tell you what, too, yeah, he's definitely charging. He almost got into the outside wall there last time off of 2. We'll see what he can do here as he comes up with his teammate of Dave Bush here in the 53. 6th position for the 81. He's trying to get back into the top 5. No front end on the front of that 81. It doesn't matter, though. He's still got the speed in that race car as they continue off of 4. You can see there's the top 2, though. They've broken away. Hunter Hayward, he hit pit road there in the 48 machine. It looks like he came out directly ahead of him 1 lap down, so I don't know exactly what he did. Maybe he just came down and took a set of tires, but didn't get none of the damage fixed on that thing.
Yeah, that's a little bit interesting that he decided right then and there to go ahead and pit. Maybe he just felt, when he went into the corner, he didn't have any tires left to lean on. Decided just to, pit early, go ahead and get it taken care of, and wait for the next caution, try and be that first car, 1 lap down, and see if he can't get a lucky dog. But right now, he's got some work to do because you got Chuck Sweeney and Clifton Ashland that are 1 lap ahead of him.
Now look at this battle. Great battle we got going on here as the 9 of Michael Yarrow putting the pressure on the 77 of Mark Whitley. Top 2 finishers in qualifying. They're showing they got speed in these 2 cars right now as they just drive away from the field. About 4 seconds gap back to Dave Bush, who just took over 3rd. Steven Stimpian slides his way up to 4th as Byron Barlett holds on to 5th. I gotta say, Byron's in a good spot, though. He's got the most tires on the racetrack. If we got a group of cautions, he could be in a good spot. His man, he gets a little bit of help there from Mike Chamberlain to get past.
Yeah, you got a good point there. If cautions come out a little bit later on, he's going to have that extra set to lean on. And just want to go back to Michael Yarrow there, just talking about, he was the fastest in practice, putting up some really good laps and just kind of backing it up here early in the race, already hanging there with Mark Whitley. It's just another impressive run for Michael Yarrow. So it'd be impressive to see, if he's able to take his practice run and back it up here in the race. And so far, he's been able to do so with 68 laps complete.
He really has, man, just putting the pressure on our leader up in the 9 machine. Is great run for Dave Bush, our winner at the season opener at Daytona. He was so happy to get that win. Hasn't had really the runs to go with it after that point. Has had a tough time, but now running great here at Martinsville as Mark Koscheck in the 33, I believe he goes a lap down in that 33 machine. He's really struggling back here in the 14th spot. He's slowing down, coming to pit road in this 33. So major issues for Mark Koscheck there as he hits pit road. As unfortunate for him, untimely pit stop.
Yeah, and touching on Dave Bush, this is what he needs. He needs another just a good solid run like he's having right now, and get a good finish. To get that confidence back up. He's had 1 top 5 finish, and he's had 3 top 10 finishes. So he just needs to get that confidence back up, get a good finish here, and he's doing what he needs to do, which is run your race, run the track, race the track, and then be around for the end and give yourself a chance to get try and get another victory and stuff. So good to see him running up front in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, doing great laps here right in front of his teammate Steven Stippian also. So looking lap time wise too, Dave Bush right there in line with our leader, only a couple of hundredths off, but really only 100 off of Mark Whitley. So great run for him. Also Steven Stippian, he's the fastest car on the racetrack. So no front end, it doesn't matter. And caution on the racetrack, 4th caution of the night, and it's the 48 of Hunter Hayward up in the fence here in turn number 4 here at Martinsville. Don't know what happened there, but it seems like major issues there between him and another driver as they battled down into the corners. We'll go back on the Freaky Fast replay to see exactly what happened here. Hunter Hayward, remember that unscheduled pit stop hit for pit road in the top 5, going by the free hug machines of Dakota Bryant as he's trying to make this pass down the back straightaway. Almost clear. The 58 comes back under the braking. And right here, I think you're going to see a little bit of contact, a little lockup from that 58, and boom, into the door. Nothing the 48 could do, and he's up into the outside retaining wall. And just an unfortunate caution there for Hunter Hayward as he was trying to get back in position to get into the lucky dog, maybe possibly to get himself back up there, but not a great night in the return for the 48 here at the SRU.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling, trying to make his way back here. And, you saw it there on the replay, just where the 58 of Dakota Bryant just locked up that left rear, just, on for the ride, just sliding into Hunter Hayward. Hunter Hayward just, no fault of his own, just in the wrong spot. And we were talking about that earlier, that, all it takes is for, a person to overdrive the corner or lock up the wheel, and they slide up. And if you're that car on the outside, you got nowhere to go. There's the car sliding into you and the wall to the outside. And, unfortunately, Hunter Hayward just got caught up in that.
And I tell you what, maybe a free hug from Dakota there, just a little bit too much of a hug to Hunter Hayward. There is, unfortunately, it sends him up into that outside retaining wall as we're under caution for the 4th time here tonight at Sim Racing's Unleashed Cup Series at the Martinsville Speedway. At the moment, looks like Michael Yarrow may have taken the lead, as no, Mark Whitley's ahead of him now. So a little confusion there, but yeah, I was about to say they didn't hit pit roads. I don't know how that would have happened, but now the timing of scoring going to fix itself. Yarrow back in the 2nd, Whitley up to the lead, but Steven Stippian running some of them fast times back there in the 4th spot with that no front end. Very impressive to see.
Yeah, I was just looking at that as you were talking, and Steve Stippian working his way back up inside the the top 4, top 3, and just an impressive recovery by him. I think that speaks volumes, just the type of talent that he has, and good for him to be able to keep his composure, keep his head in the game, and just make the best of a bad situation that he got wrapped up into. So there's a reason why he's our points leader, and I think this coming to play, and he's showing it up right now here at this track. So he's got a long ways to go. But he's already made a lot of ground, and maybe that front end, maybe these other cars up front might want to knock off the front end too and see if it helps them.
Yeah, I mean, I do know. I mean, it is a good thing to happen actually to the race car here at Martinsville, at least on the real side of the racing spectrum. You want to cool them front tires down, you get plenty of air to them. So knocking that front end off probably wouldn't be the worst thing. But we'll have to see what it does here in the sim on iRacing, as we're on iRacing Live here tonight with the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series. Thank you all for tuning in to Freaky Fast as we're getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Here it is. Green is out. Now we're off and away. Great start from the top side. They're going to be dead even heading down to 1. Yarrow up top. Michael Whitley on the bottom. Yarrow rolling the center very well on the top. He may have the power coming down the back straightaway. It's ahead for the 9. Can he get ahead?
What an impressive move by Michael Yarrow to be able to hang up there, on the outside line and make a run for it. As we see him still here, just hanging on with Mark Whitley side by side, going into the next turn here. We'll see if he'll be able to hang on. Mark Whitley might be able to get him on corner exit.
He had such a good shot at it, but just couldn't get it done. As now the rest of the field stacks up. Jason Adams, the 55 of Benjamin Butler. All of these drivers fighting back here for position 5th on back as the field stacks up here. Everybody trying to go forward with some tires.
Yeah, we saw the car back there kind of lock up his tire and then got loose off the exit there behind the 24, and Porter was able to save that.
Look at this here. Clifton Ashley all over the back neck lid as the 48 now goes to his outside. Trying to get the run. Hunter Hayward 2 laps down back here in the 16th position. Clifton Ashley 1 lap down in 15th. It's the battle of the lappers here down in the 3.
Yeah, this move here that we just kind of did a ride along with is what we were talking about. Just getting that run off the exit to set up the pass up to the next turn. You perfectly executed there. I think it was Hayward here that just pulled that off. You see, his car being able to rotate there and able to dive on the inside, get another good run off. And he's going to be able to stick it here to try to make another pass. Just a textbook of what we were talking about earlier in the broadcast about how you have to try to make a pass.
It really is the textbook way to get it done here. And another question, I gotta be questioning myself here at least. Are these guys shifting, or are they just staying in the 4 gears? Ooh, we have a caution on the racing surface. Michael Yarrow in the 9 machine goes around.
Yeah, I was just kind of watching that as we were just you're talking about Hunter Hayward. It looks like just coming off the exit there, just got a little bit loose and shot towards the inside wall. We'll see how much damage he might have on his car as we watch the Freaky Fast replay.
Here we go, replay back in our hands. Here's we go down to 3 and 4. Michael Yarrow running the second spot. I like the line he runs here. Runs a little up higher up on entry. He's going to cut it down here through the middle of the corner. Try to get the good exit, but the rear never connects. Sends him around, and he's going to take a pretty good lick here on the left front. Right on the inside wall. And, if you can get it worked on pretty decently, we're showing that, aero is not too big of an issue. Steven Stimpy making the aero look like it's a non-factor really here, David. So if he can at least get that toe, everything realigned perfectly, the suspensions and all that is good on that car, he should be able to work his way back up in the 9 machine, luckily for his sake.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Yarrow needs to be telling himself is that, hey, look, yep, I had a mistake there, it cost me, but Steve Sipian was able to work his way back up. We got a long way, still to race, so I got time to get myself back up to the front. So we'll just have to see what kind of damage he has. And like you said, hopefully it didn't knock anything out on the toe, and we'll see how, he's able to recover if he has, same kind of fortune if we've seen with Steve Sipian, who's now sitting in second place.
Yeah, this is very cool to see that no front end work his way all the way back to the spot he was in when he had contact with a lap car, sending him into the inside wall and losing the front end of his race car from there. It's been a battle up to this spot, but man, he's still got so long to go in the race for him. This is not a bad position to be in for Steven Stimpy.
Yeah, it's not, and he's got to feel good about just the recovery he's made so far. So that's got to be a little bit of a confidence builder for him to know that, okay, my car's still good enough to compete. Now I just got to go out here and take care of my stuff. What he can't afford is he can't afford to be wrapped up in another mishap. Because his car's already damaged. His car won't be able to sustain another impact like what we saw earlier.
That's exactly what I was about to say, David. It's one of those things where, yeah, it's a good scenario where he's made it back up here, but if he's in another scenario like that, no protection on the front end, I think he may have some major engine issues to worry about after a contact like that. So we'll have to see what it does. Here's the race plays on. But I tell you what, he's going to be a factor here as he is the reason why he's our points leader, like you said. He's just so consistent and is able to fight back through things like this. If he was to say come back and win this race with no front end, I think that shows a lot. But also, we got to point this out. Look who's up to 4th. Byron Barlett, remember, he just came down pit road last time by, not this time on this caution, but the last caution before. He's already back up to 4th. Same with Mike Chamberlain there in the 5th position. It's going to be interesting to see what those new tires can do with these top contenders.
Yeah, looks like him and Mike Chamberlain, looks like they both pitted around the same time. So yeah, Barlett, we'll see what he's able to do up here with fresh tires being up towards the front, and we get ready to come back to the green flag.
Here we go in the restart zone. Green flag is off, and we're away. Steven Stimpy, great start out front. He's going to pull a nose ahead, actually a clip ahead here as we go through turn 2. And Whitley going to stay out front.
Yeah, I was kind of laughing when you were saying nose ahead. He's got no nose, but yeah, he's got a really good restart there. Just wasn't able to keep it in front of Whitley. So, we'll see how he does here as we see the number two, sitting in third spot. So we'll see if he's able to chase down, the two leaders there as we see him locking up his brakes.
Great run there. Is another quick caution here, sixth caution of the night, and that is gonna be for I believe Dakota. Right. Oh, sorry. No, I'm trying to. This is a little bit of a jumble up here. Oh, it's Jason Adams in the 24 as we go back on the Freaky Fast instant replay. As I think he's going to get a little bit of help here from the 44 of Robbie Darnell. We'll see him come into the picture here in the next few moments. Yep, very quickly, and just a little boop to the left rear of the 24 where it's very unsettling, and it sends him around here to bring out this caution here for the sixth time tonight.
Well, I tell you, Robbie Darnell just having having a challenging night so far. He got in a little bit hot into that corner. Looks like he might have lost his nose now. So we're getting a couple additions to the modified looking cars here.
Yeah, a couple more additions to it. That's a Martinsville special, I feel like. And lucky dog this time too. There as he goes around the 4800 Hayward. He was 2 laps down a little bit ago. Oh, now he's back on the lead lap. That just shows you what you can do at Martinsville if you have the cautions. You can never give up at this place because you can get back on that lead lap. And if he's got that car fixed up enough, he could work himself back into a pretty decent spot in that 48.
Yeah, some timely cautions for him. He's had some unfortunate luck early in the race, so hopefully these next 100 and some odd laps for him will kind of turn, in his favor as he's getting back on the lead lap. But yeah, maybe he doesn't have a whole lot of damage to his car. He can kind of make his way through the field, but some of these cars are just got to be a little more cautious as they try to work their way through traffic.
It's been a fun night here in Martinsville so far. We've seen really everything, personally, David. I mean, we've seen a decently longer run. We've seen very quick restart cautions, and then we've also seen, lap traffic involved in cautions. So, I mean, it's really been a tale of pretty much everything you could ask for at Martinsville and what you could expect coming in here. So, what else is going to hit these drivers? We'll have to see. Byron Barlett, remember, he's on the newest tires in the field. He's up to now the third spot after restarting in fourth. He looked pretty quick, too, before that caution came out, just the way the drive off looked with the new tires. He could be up here to challenge this 77 and 81, and that's going to be super fun to watch.
It's going to be great to see him, racing up front, and to be even better to see if he can even pull off a victory. It'd be great to see him in the victory lane. But yeah, you were talking about it. We've seen a lot of things already here in the first 95 laps. We're not even quite halfway yet, so we got a lot more action-packed racing to still see. And we've seen some forms of bump and runs, more bumps without the runs, but a little bit early for all that to be going on. We suspect to see that more as we get towards the end of this race here. But right now you got the number 2 Barnett out there, and then you got Dave Bush sitting outside, on the outside of that number 53 car. So good to see these guys running up front and having a good run so far in the first 96 laps.
It really is, David. It's been a pleasure here tonight to call all the action here at the Freaky Fast 250 here at the Martinsville Speedway for SRU's Cup Series. We had the pace car off the pit road. Mark Whitley in control of the field. Steven Stimpy, our point leader, on the outside. It's been a battle all night between these top two. Green flag is out. We're back in green here at Martinsville as Mark Whitley leads us down to one. He's going to clear the 81, but here comes the 2 of Byron Barlett.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed on the restart there, but it looks like Mark Whitley kind of laying back a little bit as Steve Stipian got a little bit out there. But Steve Stipian did a good job of not allowing Mark to get away on that restart. But here we just see Barnett, the number 2 car, taking the second spot away and now setting his sights on the leader, Mark Whitley.
Great move for the 2 to get by the 81. Here comes the 70 of Mike Chamberlain. We can't forget about him. Also newer tires on that 70, but seeing same strategy as the 2. They're really using them to their advantage right now as we complete lap number 98 here at Martinsville. These 2 drivers closing in on the older tires up front.
Yeah, it's interesting to continue to watch these cars. You know, you were talking about the brakes on these cars, but you just continue to see, some of these cars just locking up their brakes, seeing some smoke, coming off their tires and stuff. But these guys doing a fantastic job and, keeping the control of the car. And then Mark Yarrow, we see him in the sixth spot there, coming and putting some pressure now on Dave Bush.
Michael Yarrow just involved in a caution not too long ago up in the second spot. We've seen the pace he had. Now he's showing why he had such strong pace. He's working his way back up after getting a good bit of damage repair on that car. Right now in the sixth spot is smoking tires up ahead. I think Steven Stippian trying to get into the corner underneath the two, locks him up, but just keeps it off. And even, that's Byron Barlett in the two. He's actually the one locking up the left front. And, you would think, man, why are they locking up here with the bigger brakes on these cars and, the more braking capacity? And that's kind of actually the case behind it. These brakes are almost too good. They have way more stopping power than we're used to, so you kind of got to actually use less brake percentage than what you would before. If you're braking here in our old stock car around 85 to 90%, you're probably going to want to brake 75 to 60% here with this car, just due to how much more powerful the brakes are. That tire will very easily lock up once the weight transfers from that tire to the right front.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about at the beginning of the race is that, Martinsville and by itself is just a track that's challenging, right? Just the flat track, the cornering, the acceleration off, and then throw the new gen car out there to try and race this track on. Getting used to, like you talked about, the difference in braking, just to throw another curveball at this deal. But some of these guys have done a really good job in understanding the braking and using it correctly and towards their advantage. And other guys that are still trying to figure out some of the braking on this car to get it loaded up in time. As we see Yarrow just get a good run off the exit there and trying to look on the inside. Dave Bush wasn't able to get inside there on their turn, but I think if he continues to just run his race and do what he's been doing, at the start of the race, he can work his way up. Try not to push the envelope too much and just overheat his tires. But just good to see Mark Yarrow just continue to try and work his way back up front.
It really is. He was having such a good run, and we've seen so much this season, David, that he's had good runs, just not the finishes to go along with those runs. So it's been one of those deals where we've been hoping for the 9 to get those positions, but just has not played out for him as he's working his way back through the field. I tell you what's really becoming interesting is that second place position. Byron Barlett, he's on the newer tires, but that 81 of Steven Stippian not letting up as we have another caution here, 7th of the night here on lap 108. I think that may be involving, it's the 48 of Hunter Hayward here. Another caution here with that 48 machine here as he is spun around here in 3 or 4 once again here at the Martinsville Speedway. We'll go back on the instant replay and see how it all played out here as he's battling between the 52 of him and James Bryan. As we go down the back straightaway, the 48 going to pull a nose ahead here as they go into the corner. And right here, I think we're going to have a similar situation to maybe what Dakota Bryant had. And yeah, I mean, that is almost identical to the wreck we've seen earlier in the race between Dakota Bryant and Hunter Hayward here with James Bryant and Hunter Hayward. So, man, identical incidences. The best thing for Hunter Hayward, it didn't put him in the wall as fast, and he was able to get turned around, not go a lap down here.
Yeah, short track racing is one of those things that just really, it's easy to lose your temper, get frustrated. And I tell you, if anyone deserves to be frustrated, it's got to be that number 48 of Hayward there. He's just getting caught up in a bunch of other issues there, and just trying to run his own line out there on the outside. And like I said, second time he's been collected by someone just locking up or overdriving the corner there. So. He's probably ready for this thing to be over already, but unfortunately he's got a long way to go still.
A long way to go for sure here at Martinsville. We're going to take a quick break up here, everybody, here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're going to head to a commercial break, so thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go side by side. We'll be back in a few moments.
to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
All right, we're back here, everybody, racing at Martinsville with the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series. As you can see, we're back to green flag racing. Mark Whitley out front, Steven Stipping in the second position, Byron Barlett hanging on the third with Dave Bush fourth, and Benjamin Butler working his way up to fifth. So great runs there, and our biggest mover too, got to give him a shout out. Jason Adams up to the sixth position in the 24. Definitely doing that number proud around this track here. That's a number that usually gets around here pretty well.
Yeah, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I was just looking at that, moving up 11 spots, just got his helmet on and looking out the windshield, handling his business so far, the first half of this race. So good run for him. And, unfortunately, that someone who hasn't had the good run is Chuck Sweeting. He's lost 10 spots and several laps down. So not a good run for him. It doesn't look like it'll be too good of a point day for him.
Major incident there, second place, and there goes Byron Barlett around also as he tried to miss it. Oh no, it's all transpiring here as Steven Stippian, he goes around on the front straightaway, and I don't know how that car is still working, but man, he takes a major lick on the front end off of turn 2. What a crazy incident here to bring out our 8th caution of the night. Let's go back on the Freaky Fast replay and see exactly what happened. It's the battle for the lead here. You can see Mark Whitley up front, Steven Stippian in second here. He's going to drive it down into the corner, a little bit higher entry there. You see that? He's going to roll with a little more speed in the middle, but that is usually going to cause the car to get tight. He jumps on the gas while turning the wheel, and boom, that's going to light the rear end up. And I don't know how that engine did not expire with no front end or that clip damage that he already has. He's got to be thinking everything right there. As Byron Barlett, it's just unfortunate for him too. He gets damage on the front of that nose as he goes around trying to miss that. So wild incidents here tonight for our second place car. It seems like second place is never safe.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be second place car. They haven't had good luck, but I'm with you. I surely thought that Stippian had another incident, especially on the front end of his car, that would be lights out for his engine. But looks like his car is built pretty tough. I don't know if he's driving a Ford or what he's driving, but whatever it is he's driving, it's built pretty tough. It handled another impact on the outside wall there. So we'll see if he's able. He's already done it once. Running back up to the field. We'll see if he's fortunate enough to be able to do so again. But looks like we've got Dave Bush sitting up front.
That we do. Everything kind of got wild there too with the way that the pit strategy worked out. Mark Whitley, really the only driver in our top, I'd say 8 to pit there. So that was kind of a shakeup here. Dave Bush now up front, Benjamin Butler second, Jason Adams third. Mark Whitley right now most likely going to be located back around the 10th to 9th position here. When we go back to restarts, he's also going to have Hunter Hayward there right with him. But yeah, that was such a wild incident there with really our points leader Steven Stippian, who I think he may, oh no, he doesn't have required because he's going to be able to pull off here up pit road ahead of the pace car to stay on the lead lap. So no required repairs there still, but I'm telling you what, David, that Chevy Camaro there, that thing is it's a tough car. These next gens, I'm so mind blown by how hard a lick they can take and keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I'm right there with you that, he didn't have to take any required repair there. So very fortunate once again for him. So we'll see what he's able to do with it. And then, Dave Bush sitting in the front position there. Looks like last time he pitted was lap 46. So, the car out there with the most laps on his tires.
This is going to be a wild restart. Dave Bush, though, I like his strategy. That pit stop, I mean, it's a good call from Mark Whitley. He's going to be able to jump a lot of people once they start pitting also, and most likely jump through the field here as we go green maybe for a few laps. It's going to be interesting at that point. But Dave Bush, though, I like his call. He's still going to have a couple sets on pit road. Other drivers also saving him here as we continue on here at Martinsville. Dave Bush out front, and we're looking for the green flag. Benjamin Butler on the outside. Green flag is in the air. Great start from Dave Bush. Benjamin Butler, though, great start from the top side. Also is down into the corner. Almost contacted the back bumper of the 53. Jason Adams soaring into that corner, and it's all popping off here down the back straightaway.
Yeah, coming to the corner here, we see that 99 got pretty close to getting into that rear of the 55 car of Benjamin Butler, but was able to keep it off there. But caused a little bit of a stack up towards the back, and Michael Yorl being able to fall back in line in the 4th position.
Oh, and there it goes. Mark Whitley goes around Clifton Ashley involved in this caution here as we have another incident there. Steven Stimpy and possibly involved Robbie Darnell. Oh, and there's Whitley turning around. I mean, major damage for Whitley. No hood on his car. I mean, how is that going to affect him? We've seen major damage from everybody here mostly tonight as we go back on the instant replay. One of the cleanest cars all night was that 77 machine. It's no longer going to be clean here. As he did, look at this. This is a great job by Whitley here. He's on the outside. He sees the 10 below the corner. He slows it up, crosses back under him, but the 10 loses the rear, gets into the door, sends the 77 and him both around as they pirouette here off of turn 2. Man, oh man, here's going to be the major contact though. Boom, big hit there, and then another big hit also as Darnell actually gets it stopped. So big hit to Stimping into the 77. So wild stuff here, David.
Absolutely crazy. I mean, Steve Stipien. How much more can his car take? I mean, he's had so many impacts with the front nose, and just continues to, race on. So just kind of interesting to see, what kind of damage that he sustained on this one. Just seems to be a magnet right now, for him to just not be able to avoid him. And our two top guys in the point standings, Steve Stipien, Mark Whitley, just not having the great race so far tonight, and it's just costing him. But I tell you, Dave Bush sitting out front, got to be enjoying the view he's got out there, and then Benjamin Butler be racing up front as well. I'm sure he is anxious to try and get the lead and try and work towards getting his first victory of the season.
And that is the huge risk here at Martinsville, pitting and giving up your track position. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's I just don't understand how Mark Whitley is. He is almost done for. He's on pit road. He's going a lap down. Like, he's got major damage just from that. That minor. Well, I wouldn't say minor. It was a big hit. But man, we've seen other cars take way more hits than that 77. It just seems like he got hit in the right spot for some reason, and his night here has gone up in smoke as he's sitting on pit road, still required repair. Here comes the pace car again. We'll see if he's able to pull out this time, because this will be 2 laps down for the 77 of Mark Whitley. And we've seen Hunter Hayward come back from 2 laps down. He's right now in the top 5. So we cannot say it's over for Mark Whitley, but what a bad luck situation for the 77.
Yeah, it's we're over the halfway mark, and all the challenges that Hunter Hayward has experienced so far has been in the first half of the race, and he's had all these cautions that allow him to get caught back up, and second half of part of the race, if you're having the misfortune there, just doesn't sit well, or could not sit well for our race leaders or our points leaders and stuff, because time is just ticking away from them to have that time to be able to recover.
It's all happening here tonight at SRU at Martinsville. That's going to be 3 laps down now for Mark Whitley. Just a terrible incident for him as he gives up that lead. This opens the door for so many guys. We've had Dave Bush, Steven Stimpy, and Mark Whitley, our winners this season. Who's it open the door for? Does Dave Bush try to go get his second when he's leading at the moment, or do we get a new winner? Right now, though, we're going green flag racing as we're off and away. Great start from Benjamin Butler on the outside in the 55. He almost clears the 53. The 24 again almost did it back in the 53. Here goes Michael Yarrow up the racetrack. Hunter Hayward up the fourth. It's been just a wild night here at Martinsville.
Yeah, I don't know if Michael Yarrow had any help there in the corner or not, but definitely shot up the track and having to try to recover. We saw that on the last restart. We have another caution come out.
And another caution again here at the Martinsville Speedway. It's just going wrong, and I think that's the 52 of James Bryan going to be the driver involved in this yellow here. Is he got a lot of help here, I believe, from the 70 of Mike Chamberlain here. So we'll see. It was a huge checkup there as Yarrow went way up the racetrack with Jason Adams, I think, missing the corner there. Really, he kind of went to dodge that there, and the 70 of Mike Chamberlain just really diving it off in there, trying to clear the 44. The 53 was taking it easy, and you just see major incidents like that happen when two drivers having two different mindsets.
Yeah, definitely two different break points as we saw there. I don't think Chamberlain, expected the 52 of James Bryan to break at the point that he did, and just got into the right rear of that car and sent it towards the outside wall.
Man, this is this has been carnage here tonight for the Freaky Fast 250. I mean, it's definitely been freaky here. That's for sure, as a lot of drivers experiencing major damage, major issues all night. I think this is opening up definitely a very wild, nonetheless, winner, but I think a wild top three. We may talk to some guys we haven't heard from all season long here at SRU.
Yeah, and that'll be the exciting part is if we are able to see some guys that just haven't been able to get to the front and actually maybe finish on the podium here, but just kind of want to go back to Mark Whitley. We saw Steve Sippian, the issues he had, and really hasn't had to have required repair. But the first instance we see Mark Whitley involved in, he's still sitting in pit road for almost 5 minutes, sitting about 5 laps, 7 laps down. So just unfortunate for him to be caught up in something like that and have to sit all that time in pit road. You can still see him there in pit stop number 1 as the pace car goes by him. And then Steve Sippian just taking some, heavy contact on the front side of his car, which you would think, could damage his motor and would cause, a long pit time and required repairs. Very fortunate for him that he hasn't had that, but not as fortunate for Mark Whitley.
Yeah, it took the words of him out there. Just it's one of those things that it's kind of out of your hands as a driver, and hey, Steven Stimpian's car somehow has survived through tonight here in 81, and one hit for Mark Whitley is just enough to get it done and out the way for him. Is right now 8 laps down still for that 77. And I don't think he's given up yet, though, David. I mean, we're only 139 laps into this thing. I mean, we're just past halfway. I mean, if we keep getting caution after caution like this, I mean, you could make up an extraordinary amount of laps.
Yeah, we definitely haven't seen the last caution of the race, and so that's the reason why Mark Whitley is the 2-time champion. He doesn't quit. He'll get that thing back out there and race it along as it's raceable. But I also want to take this time just to talk about the job that Jason Adams has done as we go into green flag going into turn 1.
Yeah, great job by Jason Adams there. The 24 is, he washes up the racetrack. He's going to give up a few spots here on this restart. Back to, looks like, the 7th position for the 24, as it was unfortunate for them restarting up 4th. Right now, Benjamin Butler up front. Hunter Hayward, though, trying to take the lead in the 48. He is having a wild night in that machine. Not in a very good position all night, and now up to the lead is the 48 of Hunter Hayward.
We've seen this the last couple of restarts with the car on the outside. For whatever reason, just ends up missing the corner and just way outside, in the center of the turn there. So it'll be something to kind of watch as we get later on into the runs and stuff. The car sitting on the outside if they're able to make that stick. But so far, Michael Yarrow and Jason Adams just kind of struggling on the restart.
Yeah, those cold tires definitely strong. And Byron Bartlett into the wall in the 2 machine. The 70 Chamberlain almost into the back of him. This has become somewhat of a wreck fest here as these guys are just piling into each other. They're hitting the wall, they're hitting each other, hitting everything here in Martinsville. I mean, at this point, why not?
Yeah, why not? And you know, we keep going this way, we're gonna have a hard time to read the numbers on the side of these cars. That number 2 right side is almost hard to read, but yeah, a lot of these guys got their hands full. I don't know if it's just you know, sets of tires or what it is. They're trying to get every position. It's overdriving as we see the number 2, you know, going back up the track a little bit.
Man, a lot of drivers on edge still here. The 24 deep into the corner, lock up the left front. He gets by the 2 of Byron Barlett. That's back up to the 6th position for Jason Adams, and we're seeing a lot of those left front lockups. You know, I thought it was going to happen, but it just seems to be more and more as people push this car. You're right on the edge of locking that tire.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you got to give your hats off to Hunter Hayward. I mean, look at him where he's at right now. He's sitting in the first position. So I mean, you want to talk about just a great recovery. Just you know, had everything go wrong, and you know, just being at the wrong spot at the wrong time, getting collected, and he's worked his way back up and being a couple of laps down. And now he's leading the race.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know, we talked about Steven Stippian, you know, his race tonight and how it's been wild with his damage. He's been able to still keep himself in position. But I think the damage has finally got to that race car. Very, very slow in the straights. He's able to keep up in the corners, but in the straightaways, that car very much down on pace, and he is suffering right now back in the 11th spot. He's just going to try to salvage what he can here tonight. As we look at his other teammate, of Dave Bush there, as we look down back at Stippian, he's really in that struggles bus. But yeah, Dave Bush is running great here tonight. And Hunter Hayward and Dave Bush kind of bringing it up for Steve Stippian and Smoking. So good run for Dave as he was our winner at Daytona. Benjamin Butler also his best run of the season so far.
Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder when will we see Dave Bush come down the pit road. I mean, his last pit stop was on lap 46 from what I'm showing, and so you know, he's out there on much older tires, sitting in second place. But you know, if he gets to any more cautions, which I suspect we probably will have, you know, he's going to have the most set of tires out there of anybody.
Yeah, that's going to set him up in a pretty good spot. I mean, we've seen he's got speed. Dave Bush has definitely got some good speed in that 53 machine. He gets some new tires on it, he could be sitting in a good spot. This could, like I said, it could be his chance for a second win of the season. We even had a poll there, you know, about that. So if you haven't voted for that, I don't know if it's closed yet or not, but if you did vote, thank you for voting that. If you haven't, you can. So, and I got word it won't close to the end of the race, so make sure you vote for that there if you think so.
Yeah, you know, even if he doesn't get the victories, we have a caution here. But you're just talking about Dave Bush. Even if he doesn't get the victory, he's having a really good points day. You know, with the Mark Whitley and Steve Stippian having the issues they've had, this is really going to help him on the points day.
And the yellow has flown again here. 11th caution of the night. It's going to be Robert Cheswick in the 6th machine, I believe, here. As we'll go back on the Freaky Fast replay. Look at that good-looking 6 car there. He's going to head down into turn 3 here. Get right to the bottom. And, oh, maybe a little bit of help from Clifton Ashley. I can't really tell, but a little more help there to finish him off. But, yeah, just close racing, and Cheswick unfortunately going around as he was running that 11th spot there. That's going to bring out our 11th caution of the night.
Yeah, that Ford Mustang was ready to go and decided to do a bump and run and move somebody out the way. So just unfortunate there for him, you know, to get caught up in that. But we'll see now if Dave decides to come down or if he stays out.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see who is going to come down. Dave Bush, the one who's elected to stay out the longest. What does he decide to do here? Again, electing to stay. I like that call. I think just with the way the cautions are, don't put yourself back in the carnage. I know you want to have that advantage of the fresher tires and you want to feel like Superman, but when you do that, you put yourself in positions like Mark Whitley unfortunately put himself in. And look at him now. He's sitting on pit road. Actually, he's out on the track now. He's 50 laps down in the 13th spot. So right now, I tell you what, this is pretty crazy, David. 15 laps down in 13th. But he's only got 2 cars ahead of him, a lap down of Robert Cheswick and Clifton Ashley. If those 2 drivers can get back on the lead lap, he can start getting lucky dogs and wave arounds possibly. But, oh, this shakes it all up. Can Whitley get back to somewhat close to the lead lap? Can he get a few spots? That's all he's trying to do, get the maximum amount of points out of that 77.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen a lot of craziness the first 155 laps of this race. And, as we get closer and closer towards the end of this race, that craziness is just going to continue to pick up and pick up. So, stay tuned, folks, because the craziness is not over. That Dave Busch car, number 53, great paint scheme, looking pretty good. Got a little bit of damage on that rear end, but it doesn't matter. He can't see it. So he's loving where he's sitting at right now. And we'll see what he can make out of it. But also Benjamin Butler back there sitting in third position. You got Mike Chamberlain, sitting in fourth position. So we've got a lot of racing to go to see who's going to end up taking the victory here tonight.
It's been very wild, nonetheless, to say. I mean, go ahead and get the spicy emotes out there. I mean, it's been spicy. This is definitely the most up and down wild race of the season we've had here at SRU. Most of the races have gone clean and green. I mean, we've had races that gone the whole entire field, never even seen one incident. I mean, this race here, definitely a big shakeup from the rest of the season so far. But I tell you what, it's going to give us a big shakeup here in the broadcast for us figuring out what's going on.
I'm sure the one person that probably hated to see this caution is Hunter Haywood. He had a pretty good distance on Dave Busch out there, and so he probably would have loved to see him to stay green much longer than what it did. But we're going to restack them and re-rack them and see these guys go at it side by side one more time.
Here we go. Sim Racing unleashes Cup Series in Martinsville. 11 cautions, but we're off and away. Hayward off into turn one, but Dave Busch just not the greatest restart from the bottom there. He is going to get swamped from the outside. Here comes the 70 of Mike Chamberlain down the outside. He's going to hold on to position. He rosters up the racetrack. Here comes Dave Busch back. The battle for second heats up.
Yeah, I don't know if Dave missed a shift or what happened there, his wheel spin or what, but did not get the restart he wanted. But he settled in the third spot here as he tries to work over that number 70 of Mike Chamberlain to try to get that position back.
What a wild race here it's been so far. Chamberlain misses the corner on the exit. There goes Dave Busch. What a move. Did not even expect that coming there. And he makes it done as he's up to second now. Teammate Hunter Hayward in first. It's a 1-2 for Smokey and Steven Stimpy right now. Still limping around the seventh spot. I mean, at this point, if you can survive this race and keep your car on the racetrack and on the lead lap, you can get a top 5.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be able to survive the carnage, and we've seen our two points leaders, just not being able to do that, and we're seeing Hunter Hayward recovering from the carnage, and Dave Busch is being able to avoid the carnage and just doing a fantastic job up front. And can't forget about the number 24, Jason Adams, who's gained 13 spots as we mentioned earlier.
Jason Adams, what a run it's been. 17th, the fourth, like you brought up there, David. He's done that all season long. He's really been a driver that has come from the back to the front, worked his way through the field, and has slowly, methodically got himself there. And that's why he's, done as well as he's done so far in the points this season. Really been in a good spot as he entered tonight fourth in those points, 38 back from Steven Stimpy. And so good runs all around for Jason Adams.
Yeah, we just saw Steve Stippian just park his car, so I don't know if something happened with his motor, if his car finally gave up, but they ended up taking it behind the wall.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go back and watch that. Yeah, the engine expired. It had enough. Yeah, so our points leader are going to take it behind the wall, and guess what? Mark Whitley, though, he's only 14 laps behind him now. If his motor can last long enough to where he can complete more laps than Steven Stippian, he could possibly take the points lead back here.
Yeah, I mean, just add to the craziness that we've seen already. We've seen Steve Stimpy just involved in so much stuff there, and we were questioning how his motor was able to hang on, and no required repairs or anything like that. And unfortunately here in lap 165, 164, the motor said, hey, okay, I just had enough. So now it's going to allow Mark Whitley, as you were talking about, the opportunities to make those positions up, and still got quite a bit of laps to go, and so if he's able to keep his car on the track, keep his motor going, he can take up some positions.
Yeah, this could definitely get very spicy. You see some contact in there, Clifton Ashley, and it looked like Byron Bartlett too in the two. So those two making a little contact, but you can see from this view, I mean, no hood on the front of the 77. He does have the front clip on there. but you know, we can get a good view of just the underworking of this car and just the vents and the new additions to this car that are pretty cool. I mean, so gives us a little visual goodies there to look at here tonight. As man, I gotta give credit to iRacing for the remodeling of this car, at least with the graphic sides and stuff.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if Mark Whitley is aware of the situation, with Steve Sippian being out of the race, and how does that affect his approach to the rest of this race? I think he's pretty much aware that the chances of him being able to come back and win are probably over. But all the craziness we've seen, who knows? Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't know what could happen here. We're under 100 to go, so this could click away very quickly if we stay in this green flag scenario. But as we get a bunch of cautions, he could very well easily work himself into a top 10. I mean, right now, he's in 13th position. He's definitely going to get Steven Stampian at this point, who's in 12th. But right now, he's got Robert Cheswick, Robbie Darnell, Clifton Ashley, and Byron Barlett, all four 1 lap down up to the 8th position. If anybody else wrecks out at this point, he's only 15 laps down. Up to the final 15 laps, that is when he won't be able to make up any more positions if someone wrecks out in front of him. So really, he has plenty of time to make up spots. It could be a good points night still here for the 77 if this is a recovery.
Yeah, he just needs to keep this car on track and try to keep it as clean as possible now with that added more damage to to what he has, and just manage the damage, manage the loss, and keep the car on the track. And I'm still looking at Dave Bush here. He still hasn't pitted since lap 46, and we're at lap 173 coming to lap 174. And just makes you wonder when will we see him come down pit road? How much fuel does he have before he's gonna have to come down and get fuel? And if he does it on the green, how many laps will he lose?
And that is a good question, David. How far can he stretch his fuel? I mean, that is going to be a huge question, I think, for a lot of the drivers out here, especially Dave Bush, who's been the one out there longest on his tires and this set of fuel here from the last time he pitted. I mean, it's going to be interesting. With the cautions we've seen, you got to expect to see another one. But if you don't, that's where you start to worry if you're Dave Bush, if you don't feel like you can make it on fuel, especially to the end of this race. Maybe Hunter Hayward and the rest can. So many questions to be asked, but man, right now, top three: Hunter Hayward, Dave Bush, and Mike Chamberlain. It's been a wild night here, nonetheless, to say at Martinsville.
I'm going to say this with tongue in cheek, but kind of right now is getting the feel of a long green run, and that's probably not something Dave Bush was wanting to see. He's probably hoping that the caution would come out here in the next 5 to 10 laps. But we'll have to see how it plays out. But again, you got to give credit to Hunter Hayward, just able to keep his head down and his hands on the wheel, and just staying focused to the task at hand. And he's put out a 4-second lead over Dave Bush.
Yeah, he has really brought the speed out, and he is one of the drivers of that top 4 we've seen that kind of breakaway early in the race. He's the only really surviving one for that. You had Michael Yar, Steven Stampian, Mark Willey, and Hunter Hayward, who really broke away in that top 4 in that first phase of the race. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, he's the one still left out there on the racetrack, while Michael Yara right now 42 laps down in the 14th position. Steven Stampian out of this race back in 13th, 16 laps down. Whitley has just passed him to take over the 12th spot from him, who's 15 laps down. I mean, right there, Hunter Hayward, he's definitely been saying, man, I probably didn't expect to be in this spot here after being 2 laps down.
Yeah, and if you kind of look at the nose of his car, then look at the splitter. It's on the left side and towards the middle. It's kind of raised up off the ground, and you would think that would hurt his handling into the corners here. But you sure can't tell. I mean, he's putting down some really good lap times. 1963 was his last lap time compared to Dave Bush, 1990.
Yeah, great lap times from these drivers right now. Very close between all of them as we hop on board. Jason Adams, you see directly up ahead of him. That's the 70 of Mike Chamberlain. He's trying to run him down here and get into that 3rd spot. Jason Adams looking for that first podium of the season. Same for the 70 of Mike Chamberlain. These drivers are definitely in great spots for not only for the points, but this is what gets you hyped up as a driver. You get that personal best for the season, and it gets you motivated and on somewhat of a roll that you can carry on for possibly the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. You get finished up there, and it's just a good motivation, and it just builds your confidence level up. Just to be able to get that podium finish and feel like, okay, I can race with these guys. And sometimes that's what it takes. It's just that one race, to get you that confidence boost, and then it sets you off for the rest of the season.
Confidence is everything here, especially at the paperclip here in Martinsville, Virginia. It's been a night where drivers, I feel like their confidence may have been broken and then regained as the race is going on. I mean, it's been a tale of every single lap being a different one. You never know what is coming around the next corner personally at these moments right now. But, nonetheless, to say the Freaky Fast 250, it got a little freaky here tonight.
Yeah, is that word you like to use? It definitely got spicy the first half of this race, and we're out to the second half of the race with lap 186 coming to just 187, and yeah, still a long ways to go to see how this all plays out, and still waiting to see when Dave Bush makes that pit stop, and it makes you wonder, what his tires going to be like. I mean, he's been out there for a very long time. Granted, we didn't have a lot of cautions and stuff, but there's still a lot of racing on the green flag that's gone on as well.
Yeah, this is getting into an interesting scenario too, where Hunter Hayward, he now 8 seconds almost ahead of Dave Bush here. He is in a position where he could go up here and lap a few more guys and really put some more lap cars in between the rest of this field, and that's going to help him for later in this race. I mean, right now, we're looking at Benjamin Butler and Jason Adams, these two battling for 4th and 5th. These guys are 12 seconds back from Hayward, so right now they're about 8 seconds ahead of our leader, and he's definitely closing in at a good rate. The first ones that are looking to be in trouble are Larry Blair in the 73 machine and the 52 James Bryan back there in 6th and 7th. They're about 3 seconds to 2 seconds ahead of our leader right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, don't know how Hayward's able to do what he's doing, with the damage that he has on his car, but he's just done a fantastic job. I mean, up to a little over 8 second lead, over Bush, and some of these other cars. Some of these guys have really had some good races, though. You got Mike Chamberlain up there, Jason Adams, Benjamin Butler, James Bryant, and Larry Blair all in the lead lap. So they're all having a good points day.
Great points all around for sure, David. It's been a night where you could definitely gain if you're a driver looking to survive here at the Martinsville Speedway and survive. They have done. Benjamin Butler, though, he gets by Jason Adams there for 4th, as Jason Adams now in the 5th spot. Still our biggest mover, though, from that 17th to 5th position. James Bryant behind him, also 14th to 6th. It's been a lot of climbing going on here tonight. Is our top 3 in those in the qualifying spots. They are all out of this race due to damage, other than Mark Whitley, who's making laps while still being damaged.
See some cars going down on the pit road there, and what we still haven't seen is Dave Bush. I tell you, I'm just really impressed with how far he's been able to stretch this out. What you hope you don't see is that he stretches it out too far and ends up getting a blown tire. Now, I probably shouldn't say that, but the last thing we want to see is another caution. But it is a reality of these guys running, especially Dave, running as many laps as he has. I mean, he's ran almost 150 laps since his last pit stop.
Yeah, that's very impressive for sure. I personally, with the amount of cautions, it's going to be close for him to be able to make it on fuel. It actually is. It's I would say he's somewhere within a ballpark region of being 10 laps short, maybe 15 laps short, possibly in my book of things. I mean, you got to account for all the caution laps that we had since he's pitted. It adds a lot onto that fuel tank, and you could go at this racetrack around 150, 160 laps. So it's a place where you can go a good portion of a distance, but those caution laps definitely add a good bit also. So we'll see if he can get that done, but I mean, still nonetheless, 50 laps to go here at Martinsville, or over 50 laps to go here at Martinsville. It's going to be in a tough spot to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, and if he is able to make it, I'll tell you, as a driver, I'll be taking notes to see how he does it, because it'd be pretty impressive, for him to be able to do that and come home in second place. But these guys just doing a great job. Good seeing some guys out there that we don't really get an opportunity to talk a whole lot about. such as the number 55 of Benjamin Butler. But just good to see these guys having some good runs, and unfortunately, it's at the cost of some other guys, that normally run well, didn't have a good run today.
A lot of drivers looking to have good runs here, but we still got 50 more laps to get done here at Martinsville. It's been a wild ride up to this point, but we're going to take our final commercial break of the night here at Sim Racing Unleashed at Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Freaky Fast 250 at Martinsville. We'll be right back in a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, as we go side by side. Freaky Fast Broadcasting is presented to you by Uniformity, Scrubs, Embroidery, and Custom Apparel. Uniformity is in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's the best place to get medical scrubs and accessories. Thank you for being a proud sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting at Uniformity. But thank you all for tuning in here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. What a night it's been so far up here in the booth as we took on the paperclip here at the half miles in Martinsville, Virginia. Hunter Hayward out front as we had a caution to bring everything back together. I think we're about to have another as the yellow flag waves as we have a major wreck off of turn number 2.
Yeah, we were in for a good green flag run there for a while, and got to see Dave Bush come down inside to pit road that just was able to keep it green here, coming to lap 212.
Yeah, and it looks like a little bit of contact from Clifton Ashley to the back bumper. James Bryan able to bring out this caution as Clifton Ashley's been using the bumper tonight here, definitely for sure, that tip machine. So had a few little occasions like that, but major incidents for a lot of guys. Byron Bartlett involved in that. And 13th caution of the night here at Martinsville. It has been a wild ride here.
Yeah, it definitely has. This track has always been known for some, short track races and a lot of contact. And, unfortunately, that's what we've seen, so far this race. But we've also seen some green flag, running and stuff. But what we have seen is just Hunter Hayward make the recovery of the night, just, falling to the back end, involved in so many contacts. And, been leading the pack. And, but now we'll see. Everybody's on equal tires. So we'll see what the guys up front with Hunter Haywood, Dave Bush, Jason Adams, and Larry Blair, see if any of these guys have anything for that number 48.
It is going to be fun to watch to see if anybody has anything for him because, Dave Bush, he is the possible driver that could be a repeat winner here. But I tell you what, if he doesn't win, we'll get our first-time winner, a new first-time winner this season, and that'll be really, really cool to see. But if Dave Bush also wins, that's going to be cool to see too. So it's it goes hand in hand. Either way, it's going to be a very special finish here tonight for some driver out there.
Yeah, we're going to be re-racking these guys again, and there's going to be less than 40 laps to go, when we come back to going to green, and so the intensity level again is going to pick up, so we could be in for some more cautions. I hate to say that, but as crazy as this night's been, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. But we'll see how this all shakes out. It's we'll have about 35 laps or so to go.
Yeah, it's going to be wild down to the end. So, another crazy scenario that happened while we were under commercial break there, Mark Whitley, his race actually went up and spoke. Similar condition as Steven Stimping. He actually, I believe, blew a motor also, so it had to bring him to pit road to end his night. And man, the engine damage on these cars after a certain point gets to him, and someone got to watch for Hunter Hayward. He's had some major damage on this car.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think right now he's just been, the car to beat since he's been out front. So that clean air is definitely helping him. And so we'll see if Dave Bush is able to, say something about it. Which looks like Hunter Hayward decided that he's going to want to start on the outside lane if Paul's looking right. We'll see how these guys gather up. But kind of talking about the points, you have Steve Simpian, who's had a handful of race day today and just wasn't able to finish the race. Mark Whitley, you talked about how to park behind the wall, but now you got Dakota Bryant, James Adams back there, points, could have a good points day as we come out of turn 4 and get ready to go back to green.
Here we go. Hunter Hayward outside, Dave Bush down low here, restarting up front. Hayward going to get a great launch there as that green flag comes out. He slides down to the bottom ahead of teammate Dave Bush. He's got Jason Adams back in the 3rd position as he gets past Larry Brown. Here comes Benjamin Butler to take the 4th spot possibly.
Yeah, then like you just talked about those two being teammates and stuff, so I don't know if that was just kind of a strategic restart for those guys to be able to get in line. But we'll see what Jason Adams is able to do, if he's able to have enough to work his way around Dave Bush here, as we see out the back end of Dave Bush's car. Jason Adams a little bit lost a little bit, but he's gaining on entry. So I'm not sure if Dave Bush is just backing up his corners or what he's doing there. But Jason Adams is able to close in and then falls back.
Yeah, it seems like it was being very methodical, but whoo, Larry Blair, the 73, big moment for him. Almost had another yellow there as he saves that 73 after some major moments there. So great save by him in the 73 machine, but he's going to gather it up as here goes Robbie Darnell by on the inside of the 44.
I'll bet that was the sound he was probably making inside his cockpit when all that happened. It's a great recovery by him to keep that car from going out from underneath him.
It was for sure. As we're going to hop on board with Benjamin Butler up here in the fourth spot, and he goes around. What a wild turn of events there. As you're going to see that live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Wow. I got to give our producer, Robert Ward Jr. credit there. He just, he read that play.
Yeah, he picked the perfect timing to do a ride around with the number 55 there, Butler. Just as he was coming off the exit there, we got to ride along and see he went into the inside wall as we're watching the replay here.
Yeah, he definitely lost the rear end there and just goes around. And tell you what, it's something we've seen very common here tonight. As right now he's in that fourth spot. It looks like nobody going to come to pit road and just, hey. You spin around, and it looks like he'll possibly get right back here into position, I believe, still.
Yeah, fortunately for him, he's able to, still be up there in that position. Didn't lose very much, so good for him. And Benjamin Butler, he's the last car on the lead lap, so I don't know if he has a set of tires left or not, but you would think if he does, he might have went ahead and used it. He wouldn't have lost anything.
Oh, and I gotta correct myself. He did not keep that position. He went a lap down. So he's actually, they're back in 8th. So from 4th back to 8th. So unfortunate for Benjamin Butler there. He'll probably be looking maybe to come down pit road here at some point since he's a lapper, but no, he's going to stay out here again. So 14 cautions, 55, going to lose a lap there after spinning here to bring out that 14th yellow. It's been very spicy, man. I tell you what. The big question for me, Hunter Hayward, he's got major damage on the nose. Dave Bush, he's going to have a few extra sets. Does someone play some strategy here because there's so little amount of cars on the lead lap, 7 here. Does someone play strategy, get those new tires, try to take advantage of this? Does Dave Bush rough up his young teammate there in the 48 and try to get by him? I mean, there's a bunch of questions. Does Jason Adams rough up both of them? I mean, it is all over the place here tonight at Martinsville.
Yeah, those are some very good questions, and those guys are running towards the front might not want to pit and get in the back of where the mayhem's been happening, even though they only fall back to the 7th spot. But I think they might want to keep the track position they do have. But yeah, the question is going to be when does that whole team part go out the window, and you start racing for yourself to try and get Dave Bush to try and get his second win, or does he just continue to play nice with his teammate Hayward and allow him to come in and race for the win?
Yeah, that's also another good question to ask ourselves here. As wow, Martinsville, I mean, it's known to cause things like this, but I tell you what, coming into this 250 laps, every time I get Martinsville in the schedule for the broadcast, I always go, man, I don't know what to expect. I mean, a lot of times you expect yellows, that's one thing to expect at Martinsville. But I tell you what, there's also just, the factors of who is in those yellows. Sometimes you'll get those races where it's just certain drivers involved in it, and it's a lot of, certain parts of the field wrecking. But we've seen everybody be affected in this race from the lead all the way to the rear of the field. It's been one of those races where you're not safe at any spot. As we have 1 to green here, and we re-rack them.
Yeah, we're going to be racking them. We'll be coming with 24 laps left in this race. But yeah, we've seen just a lot, like you said, we've seen just about everything. Guys getting loose, coming off the exit there and going towards the inside wall and collecting people. We've seen people just locking up their tires, going into the corner and, collecting the car on the outside. So, 24 laps left to go here. We'll see what we get for the remainder of the race.
And here we are, green flag back out, and away we are. Here in the Freaky Fast 250, contact between the 24 Jason Adams and the 70 of Mike Chamberlain as they race off of turn 2. Looks like Adams going to hang on to 3rd there with 24 to go. Chamberlain almost getting into the back bumper there, down into 3. I don't think that battle's over yet. Is that battle for 3rd heats up? Is Chamberlain diving almost to the inside? He's coming back to this corner up here and get a run off possibly here. as, man, everybody trying to get up in spots here to get themselves on that podium.
Yeah, we'll see if how happy Chamberlain was with Adams, making that contact on him. As he catches back up to him, if, does he decide to give him a little bump and run of his own? But still got 22 laps to go here. But Dave Bush within a half a second of the number 48, the leader. So we'll see what he's able to do.
22 to go, coming to lap 21 to go here. It's getting very interesting here as Dave Bush, we ride on board with him in the 53 machine, pushing hard here, trying to keep up with his teammate in the 48, Hunter Hayward, who's trying to drive away and seal up this first victory of the season here in season number 11 at SRU. What a drive it's been for him as he's recovered from 2 laps down. But we have another yellow out on the racetrack, and that is Mike Chamberlain in the 70. Caution, number 15, for just spinning it off of 4.
Oh man, and yeah, just on board to see what the replay shows here, what happened to Chamberlain and stuff. But I tell you, this next restart, this could be it. As we get ready to watch this replay of this last caution and watch the 70.
Yeah, here you're gonna see him in the 4th position here at the moment, trying to get everything out of this race car to get up into that 3rd spot there, directly ahead of Jason Adams. He's gonna come here off of 4. And we've seen this multiple times now with multiple guys just losing the rear on the late exit, and he's going to go around. Major damage on the front end of that car. We've seen that tonight too, as he loses his front end, and we get to see that front clip.
Yeah, this unfortunate there, lost it there on the exit, like you said, and still able to, looks like on my timing line, still able to keep it, keep it on the lead lap. So fortunate for him to be able to do so. But now he's got that Steve Sippian type looking car, so we never know. Maybe that'll be towards his advantage. It'll be able to get him a few spots with that look.
What a wild race it has been here, man. I say that a bunch, but it is definitely a night where guys are gonna have bit feelings, bit fenders, and bit emotions. I mean, next week even it's getting very, very interesting, as I believe next week will be at the Nashville Super Speedway. As man, that's gonna be fun. That track is a blast, I gotta tell you, man. And that's gonna be the Smoking 200 there with the next gen Cup Series cars here. It's gonna be a race to watch for sure.
Yeah, it's like James Bryant decided to come down pit road there, so probably got another set of tires. So we'll see. Looks on my timing, it still shows him on the lead lap there. So we'll see how. Yeah, looks like he's still going to be in the lead lap. So we'll see what he does with his set of tires. We're going to have less than about 15 laps to go for the remaining of the race.
It's gonna be fun to see who can pull this off. Remember, the next 3 weeks gonna be very wild. We have Martinsville this weekend. Next weekend, like I said, National Super Speedway. Then we go to the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's going to be 3 weeks of carnage here at SRU as they prepare to get ourselves down to the playoffs. Really, after tonight, only 5 races to go before we go playoff racing. And what a race that's going to be. Top 12 to get themselves in. Man, I cannot wait to see how it all plays out here at SRU. But Hunter Hayward up front still, like you said, going to be under 15 to go here when we go green flag racing. What does Dave Bush have? Does Jason Adams have something to say? Larry Blair here in 4th, and Clifton Ashley multiple laps down. He's got himself up to 5th now in the 10 machine.
Yeah, this next restart for Dave Bush, if he wants to go for this win, is going to be important for him. So we'll see if now the teammate thing is kind of put to bed now, and these guys both try to race for the win, and does that open the door for either Blair or Adams to try to sneak out a win of their own?
And here we are, re-racked back up. Hunter Hayward out front. He's going to take the outside line once again, give the inside to his teammate of Dave Bush. Grab Jason Adams there along his inside in the 24. We're going to come to the restart zone here, looking for the green flag. It's going to be 14 to go. Green flag in the air. We're off and away down to turn 1. Looks like, hey, we're going to clear 53 to Bush as he slots into 2nd. Here comes Jason Adams in 3rd.
Jason Adams just hanging on to the bumper of Dave Bush there, and we'll see if he's got anything for Dave Bush. if he's going to be able to close that gap and try to make a run to take second place from him.
And right now, Clifton Ashley, he's a driver making his move up through the field as he's trying to take that fourth spot. Trying to get up into that third spot there with Jason Adams directly ahead. We've got some tire lockup. Hunter Hayward way up the racetrack into the wall also a little bit. Major mistake for the 48.
Yeah, definitely a mistake that allowed Dave to close that gap up to less than a half a second. So we'll see if Hayward's able to recover, which looks like he's able to do so. But yeah, definitely a moment for Hunter Hayward.
This has been crazy, man. Never safe at any moment here at Martinsville. And right now, Hunter Hayward trying to do his best job to disappear from this field. Go and grab that checker flag at 11 to go coming out of 4. We're going to be coming to 10 to go here in the next few moments. Wow, what action we got here, man, is Hayward. Big gap, he's opening it up, but Jason Adams not letting Dave Bush get away. It could be a battle for second.
Yeah, definitely could be a battle for second as we see Ashley dropping down about 3 seconds back. So this could be, just the top 3 cars, but Dave Bush having the best opportunity of all 3 cars to try and catch Hunter Hayward, who's again done a phenomenal job, has experienced everything across the board that you can experience on a track like this, and just great performance, great recovery by him to be leading all these laps with less than 9 laps to go here, and it could be walking away with the victory. So it'll be interesting to have a conversation with him after the race about just his feelings of how his race went for him.
Yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions, I think, for him as he's returning back in SRU. Bush, though, still within grasp. I mean, if we see Hayward make that big mistake again, Bush is going to be there. And if he makes that mistake again, you got to be like Dave Bush. You got to take a chance there, in my opinion. Maybe try to use your teammate up just a little bit here and go and get that second win of the season. We're going to be coming this time by to 6 to go here at the Martinsville Speedway. SRU has been a rough night here at the Freaky Fast 250, but I tell you what, it's going to end with some bright spots.
Yeah, it could very well end with Dave Bush finishing in second place, and just a good points day for him, to be able to close that gap up between Steve Stippian and Mark Whitley. So, he might be pretty content with that, and especially in a track like this with all the stuff that's gone on, to be able to be running in second place and bring home a second place finish.
5 to go here at Martinsville for the Freaky Fast 250. It's been a wild night. 15 cautions up to this point here, but we're looking to run it green to the end. Hayward's going to see 4 to go this time. Right now, our top 5 separated by 7 seconds. It's been a wide range of the gap, but I tell you what, if it stays this way, there's going to be some happy drivers. Not only is Hunter Hayward going to get the win, Dave Bush going to bring home a good top 3 here for him in that second spot, but Jason Adams will get his first podium. 3 to go here in Martinsville. Who is going to survive?
Survive is the right word to use. It's all been about survival tonight, and I tell you, these guys up in the top 3 have done a phenomenal job all race long. Dave Bush really hasn't seen too much adversity in this race, but Hunter Hayward, number 48 car, our leader, has seen just about all of it, and he's coming off the exit here. We're getting ready to take the 1 to go.
Here we are down to 3 and 4. Hunter Hayward, he's going to look up to the flag stand, and he's going to get the Freaky Fast white flag here at Sim Racing's Unleashed Cup Series at the Martinsville Speedway. 1 to go here. If you want to have your name or logo up on our broadcast here, hit us up on our social media so we can work it out as we head down into the final corner for the final time tonight. Hayward, 2 laps down. It doesn't matter. Spun out twice. He's going to win here at Martinsville.
What a phenomenal job there, and shakes that car a little bit as he comes across the finish line. But man, hats off to Dave Bush, Jason Adams, Cliff Ashley. Just phenomenal job with those guys, surviving tonight's race. And congratulations to Hunter Hayward. Again, what a phenomenal job you've done. Going all the way to the back and making it all the way to the front as two teammates celebrate there. As we come across the finish line again.
What a race here at Martinsville for the Freaky Fast 250. Hunter Hayward going to pull it on the front straightaway and celebrate here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. What a historic racetrack to win. He is definitely going to be happy for this situation as he's going to burn it down here on the front straightaway. Win number 1 this season. It's season 11 for Hunter Hayward, one of our past champions here at Sim Racing Unleashed's Cup Series. He's definitely got to be happy about this one here tonight. We'll be back in a few moments, everybody, as we get our top 3 drivers up here to have a chat with them. Going to be some happy drivers up here in this podium chat. Do not miss that action. We'll be right back. Freaky Fast Broadcasting is brought to you by ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. You can head on over to ButtKicker.com and use our promo code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com. Thank you to ButtKicker for being a proud sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But we're back here, ladies and gentlemen, after a wild Freaky Fast 250 here from the Martinsville Speedway here at SRU's Cup Series. Man, what a night it's been. But our first driver we want to talk to is our third place man, Jason Adams. First podium of the season. He's going to be a happy camper. Let's talk to Jason Adams. Hey, Jason, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Hey, Zach, go ahead, buddy.
I tell you what, man, great run here tonight, Jason. Able to get out of Martinsville here, not only and survive, my friend, but you're able to come out here with a top 3 podium finish. Man, describe to us how that feels and how you were able to get it done at 24, making your way our biggest mover through the field here tonight.
Man, I'm going to tell you, it was not easy, that's for sure. I had to avoid a lot of accidents. One time when Stimp spun right there, I thought I was done, but I made that moved very quickly to avoid him. But to come from last all the way up to third, I couldn't ask for a better car tonight, man. It was there.
It definitely was, man. Top 3 here tonight. First podium of the season. I mean, like I said, that's got to feel great. Like you said, the car was there for you tonight. Can you think, also, we're in the next gen car. This is going to carry over into the next 2 weeks because we're on the next gen car, and not only the National Super Speedway, but also Bristol. Do you think you can carry some of that momentum here from Martinsville into those races and continue your good run, man? Because each week we see you working your way through the field, each and every week being one of our biggest movers, and the points have looked good up to this point. It should have gained a good portion of points tonight on the 2 leaders who had some bad nights here tonight.
Well, we're going to look at 1 week, one at a time. We're going to get some practice in and see what we can do for them next week. But don't count the 24 out. We're going to bring up first place home one week.
Well, man, we're definitely excited to see that happen, man. It'll be a great time and a great celebration up here in the booth, man. Congrats on third here tonight, Jason. It was a great run here at Martinsville, man. Before we let you get out of here, though, and go celebrate this thing, anybody want to send a shout out to, buddy?
Yes, sir. I like to thank my wife for allowing me to take time to sit in here and race with these guys and enjoy from week in to week out. Also, like to keep my teammate Leffler in your prayers. He's still not joined us back yet. He's still kind of recovering. So if you guys just keep him in your prayers, we appreciate it.
Well, Jason, we appreciate you, buddy, for putting on a great run here tonight, man. Congrats on third. We will catch you out there at the Nashville Super Speedway, buddy. You have a great week.
Yes, sir. You guys too.
All right, everybody. That was our third place driver of Jason Adams here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. We're now going to move on to our second place man who's been, I tell you what, looking for a good run after that win at Daytona. It happened here tonight with the 53 machine. Let's hear from Dave Bush at Martinsville. Hey, David, Zach up in there with you. Got a copy, man.
Hey, Zach, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic, Dave. I tell you what, man, great run here tonight, man. I brought it up to Jason. You know, it's got to feel good to come out here not only with the top 3 finish to put in your back pocket, but, man, how does it feel to survive Martinsville? Because tonight was a wild race. A lot of guys getting taken out and a lot of points up for availability here tonight compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, it was survival of the fittest, that's for sure. But you know, the goal was just to keep the car clean, and I knew if I could just keep it clean, I'd get a decent finish. I wasn't expecting a top 3 actually, but you know, I watched some of the other guys, and they were just racing really hard, probably harder than they should have. I like to congratulate Jason. Oh, that was awesome for him, man. It's really good to see him run well. Um, you know, so, but yeah, we're just surviving. I'm happy with a second place finish, and we'll go from there.
Well, man, I tell you what, it was definitely fun to watch you work yourself up into that spot. And like you said, have a very clean night in that 53 machine and miss a lot of people's misfortunes here at the Martinsville Speedway. Now we move on to the Nashville Super Speedway, but you know, and we're in a 3-race period of the next gen car. So we got the next gen car here at Martinsville. We go to the next gen car at Nashville Super Speedway, and then also to Bristol. So kind of the next 2 weeks back in this car. How do you feel about going into Nashville, though, man?
I feel good. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that don't really like this car, but to me, I love them. This car was built for me, so um, I was real excited when I seen the 3 coming up. So hopefully we'll do good there. Nashville should be a really fun race. Bristol is always exciting. You guys will be busy there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for sure that it's gonna be a wild one, nonetheless to say, David. But I tell you what, Dave, it's been a great run here tonight for yourself. Second here tonight, 1-2 with your teammate Hunter Hayward. So, man, congrats on second. But before we let you go celebrate this thing, anybody wants to send a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to say shout out to my family. My wife, she's watching. She doesn't chat much, but she is watching, so I'd like to give a shout out to her. Again, I'd like to congratulate Jason. Great run. And of course, got to congratulate Hunter. He had a rough moment, got a penalty, and went 2 laps down, but he recovered really well. So, congratulations to Hunter on the win. Stimp, oh, poor guy, had a rough time at it tonight. But yeah, and I'd like to let everybody know that Termite Designs will paint your race cars, and we also now design T-shirts for all you racing fans out there. So if you're interested in that, you know, come on out and see termitedesigns.epz.com, and we'll hook you up from there. I'd like to thank you guys. You guys do a great job for us week in and week out. I watch you guys all your races all week long, so you guys are just phenomenal. Robert, you do a heck of a job, buddy. And but yeah, Smoke Inc. We're coming to Nashville, and hopefully we can continue this in this car, and we'll go from there, guys.
Well, Dave, it's been a special night here, man. Congrats on second. We'll go see if you can get that second win of the season there at Nashville Super Speedway next week, buddy.
Thanks a lot, man. You guys take care.
You too, Dave. All right, everybody. That was our second place driver of Dave Bush in the 53. What a drive it was for him tonight. But his teammate in the 48, Hunter Hayward, makes his return back to the Cup Series here in the 48, and he gets the win here at Martinsville. Let's hear from the 48, who made it back from 2 laps down to get back to the win. Hey, Hunter Hayward, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, buddy, a great run here tonight to rebound back to the win. Opening portions of this race, it seemed like the top four were so close on pace. Mark Whitley up front, Steven Stippian there in second, yourself in third, and then Michael Yarrow, that four there, very quick. But man, you were the one to survive of them, and not only survive, but you went through trials and tribulations of your own here tonight, having to make it back from 2 laps down. Explain to us your wild night here at Martinsville, because I got to tell you, at some points you probably did not think you'd be sitting in victory lane.
No, no, definitely not. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest start for me. I got in trouble with some traffic early in the race twice. Of course, it had to be the father-son duo, so I had two targets on my head from two people who can talk to each other. So that was not the plan. But yeah, I mean, it was weird. We had the very first caution, and I followed Whitley down into pit road, and uh, apparently the iRacing server decided to give me a black flag for passing under yellow. So we made a rule change in this league that we're not allowed to clear black flags unless something is completely just screwing you over. So I had to go and serve that penalty, put me 2 laps down, and I came back out. And then I got into more trouble again. Thankfully, the damage wasn't bad at all. I mean, I was able to fix it in a couple of cautions on pit road. So we were also able to get 4 tires on it and get our run back to the front. And thankfully, we had multiple cautions to get the lucky dog twice and get our laps back. And fortunately, we just drove our way up to the front. And somehow I survived that whole race. And the people who would have put up a fight for me today did not.
Yeah, definitely a wild one. You know, I was saying it was your first one of the season, but man, actually, I blanked on it. This is your second one of the season, so congrats on the second one of the season here for you, Hunter. You know, we head into an interesting little stretch here right now. Before the playoffs, just a lot of short tracks. I mean, also got the Nashville Super Speedway next week with the next gen car, and then also the next gen car at Bristol. So two wild weeks of continuing in this car, man. I mean, I don't. First off, are you going to be out there, or is how you feel about those tracks at least?
Well, thankfully, yes, I will. Not many traveling that I'll be having where we don't have breaks. So thankfully, I will be those races. Um, I like the next gen car with the low downforce package, and you actually can drive the car harder and into corners than you can with the Gen 6 car. So it has a little bit less power, but it's a lot lighter, and you can throw it in the corners a little bit harder. So Nashville Super Speedway and Bristol are gonna be a fun couple of tracks with this car. But once we go to the bigger tracks, I do enjoy the Gen 6 just a little bit more. So it's gonna be a fun next couple of races, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, but it's gonna be fun to watch, man. Congrats on the second win this season here at the Martinsville Speedway. Before we let you get out of here and go celebrate with your team, buddy, anybody you want to send a shout to?
Yeah, just all my family out there. I love all y'all. All my teammates out there, Dave Bush and Steven Stympian. Steven, horrible luck today. Didn't get the best uh, luck at all today, so unfortunately ended his day. We had a great day for a 1-2 finish between me and Dave Bush, so look forward to do that next week in Nashville, but make it 1-2-3. And just everyone at this league for letting me in. I enjoy racing with all y'all. Still, my prayers out for Steven Leffler. I hope he's getting well every single day. Um, you guys, Freaky Fast, for putting on a great show. I enjoy watching every single time. Robert, Zach, David, everyone else who commentates on not only this race, Saturday nights and Monday nights, all those leagues that y'all do a great job. So I look forward to looking back at this one. Quick shout out to my sponsor, planbsales.com. Check out planbsales.com if you're looking for any racing apparel, diecast shirts, for any motorsport you enjoy, IndyCar, dirt racing, NASCAR, Formula One as well. If you want a hat, shirt, diecast, anything, even more memorabilia than that, go check out planbsales.com and use code HH48HH as in Hunter Hayward 48 at checkout for free shipping on orders $20 and over. So go check them out. And also Dave at Termite Designs for making the paint every single week. And yeah,
Well, Hunter, I tell you what, buddy, congrats on win number 2. We'll catch you next week in Nashville. You have a great time celebrating this win, buddy.
All right, buddy. You take care.
All right, everybody. That was our race winner here tonight, the Freaky Fast 250. Your winner, Hunter Hayward, win number 2 in the books for him as he tries to pull himself farther up the point standings to possibly make those playoffs in a good spot. So we'll have to see how it works out for him as he was able to survive the gauntlet of Martinsville Speedway. He might be able to work himself into the playoffs, but we'll go ahead and pull up our race results here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway as it was a wild, freaky fast 250. Just so many different scenarios playing out where drivers could not make it to the end. Our top 2 in our Titanic playoff battle did not make it to the end, so it was one of them wild nights for sure, man. It's just a lot of fun here at the Martinsville Speedway as we wait for those results here. And there they are. Hunter Hayward able to bring home the victory. Second was Dave Bush. Third was Jason Adams. Fourth going to go to Clifton Ashley. James Bryant going to be able to bring it home in fifth. Sixth going to go to Benjamin Butler. Seventh going to be Mike Chamberlain. Larry Blair in the 8th spot. Ninth's going to go to Byron Barlett. And 10th rounding out our freaky fast top 10. There's Robbie Darnell as we look through the rest of our grid here. It's really some notable drivers that are going to stick out. Of course, is Mark Whitley there from the pole position. Our second place man of points. He's going to bring it home 12th. In between, though, there, it's going to be Steven Stippian in the 14th position, 89 laps down. I mean, 2 drivers definitely at the top of the field. They're not finishing where they want, and top of the points, not getting great nights. So a wild finish here throughout the field, but man, oh man, we move on to the National Super Speedway next week. But David, any final thoughts as we close out here tonight at Martinsville?
Yeah, you said it several times throughout this race. Spicy, like cayenne pepper type spicy race we had tonight, and just the cautions and some misfortune for some, such as Steve Sippian and Mark Whitley, opened the doors for guys like Dave Bush and Hunter Hayward. And hats off to Jason Adams. Just had a heck of a race tonight. Our biggest mover, 14 positions gained during this race. So great job by him. And, the next couple of races just, could be just as spicy as what we saw here tonight. So make sure you guys tune in and join us for those next 2 weeks.
Definitely are not going to want to miss out for those next 2 weeks. Nashville Super Speedway and the Bristol Motor Speedway. 2 wild concrete racetracks. I mean, we were on concrete here tonight, too, in the corners. I mean, hey, they set it up. It's going to be a concrete jungle here as we head into the rest of these regular season races off into the playoffs here at Sim Racing Unleashes Cup Series. Again, thank you all for tuning in here tonight. Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a pleasure to call the action. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and give us that like and help us out there. If you haven't also yet, hit that subscribe and bell notification button to be notified when we go live each and every week with every one of our leagues, as Freaky Fast Broadcasting has a lot of racing action throughout the week that you do not want to miss out on. So thank you all again for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, but let's send it up to our producer, Robert Moore Jr., to close out tonight's broadcast here at Martinsville.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen out there, for tuning in here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with Sim Racing Unleashed every Sunday night at 7:50. Man, what a wild race. We've seen beating, we've seen banging, we've seen guys that normally end up in the front in the Gen 6 cars know how to handle and muscle these next-gen cars around short track racing and just in general. David Bush, you know, he's a great driver, and I don't think the Gen 6 car really fits his driving style, but you know what, guys? The next gen car does. It really, really does, and it shows. I mean, you've seen him at Daytona get a win. He finishes second here. So you know, he's got the he's got the manhandling of these cars. He knows how to drive them, how to work them. I mean, congratulations to him, but also just, you know, congratulations to Ashley in the 10, bounces back. You got James Bryan, he in the 52. You know, these guys racked off some guys, and then, you know, Steven Stempy and Mark Whitley battling those. I mean, one of these guys here tonight could have could have really got a good points lead on one of them, especially when Steven Stempion's engine expired on him there in the middle of the race. That was a chance for Mark Whitley to gain a lot of points on him, and unfortunately, well, he gets wrapped up into something here at Martinsville. So it's been action-packed racing here at Freaky Fast, and like Zach said, you know, you all know what to do out there by hitting that like. If you go back and watch this replay, and you can also share it to your favorite social media platform of your choosing, it doesn't matter to us. We do much appreciate that if you do that and get the word out there. And also, if you are watching and you go back and watch this replay, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, if you don't mind, start clipping out things that you see in the race and share clips. As we all know, YouTube now has a clipping system that you can share to your social media platforms of highlights of the race of whatever you want. And what it does, it archives into our clip area on our page. So just letting everybody out there know about that. It's actually something that it's actually pretty cool. So yeah, if you don't mind, start playing around with that. We do much appreciate that. But anyways, with that being said, our next televised broadcast is going to be tomorrow night with NISCC Truck Series with Sam Dyer, Zach Hall, and we're going to have something new and special going on. 2 new things that are going to be on Freaky Fast Broadcasting starting tomorrow. I'm not going to let anybody know what it is. Just tune in and watch and see if you like it. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to try to get it done, so hopefully it all works out the way it's supposed to. But until tomorrow night, hopefully everybody has a great rest of their Sunday night, and we'll catch you Monday night. But until then, we want to say here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.